From the MDR studios in Davenport, Iowa, Quad Cities, you're listening to Minor Disturbance Radio. About all things that rock and some that suck. Minor Disturbance Radio, this is episode 85.
Damn.
Bitches.
85, that's a good number.
This is two in a row, Travis.
Yeah, that's right.
Travis and I had kind of a meeting of the minds recently. And we
had a long-form conversation.
Well, no, even before that, we talked a little bit, and we were like, okay, where is Minor Disturbance Radio? And where are we going with it? I mean, we've got the radio show. We do that. We do the 97X thing. But it seems that the 97X show was kind of getting in the way of what we originally do, which is podcasts.
Yeah.
This type of stuff. And this is, when we don't do these very often, I start to lose focus on what MDR is.
Yeah.
And I think we both do.
It's weird. It's because you become actually overly focused on what MDR is, because we got to condense it down to like 5 minutes or whatever. We need to have long, meandering, stumbling, bumbling, unfocused conversations, tangential.
We're good at that.
This must be why,
that's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah, this must be why Tool writes 9-minute long songs.
Exactly, man. You got to have movements, man. Movements.
So we're back in the saddle, and we have Jose Urquiza, the lead singer of 3 Years Hollow, as far as I know. And I don't know, he said some things have changed in the world, and he says he's also a producer and engineer at his studio, the Attic Studio in Geneseo, which has been pumping out just
hits,
great stuff. I mean, everything that comes out of your studio sounds awesome. Also, Tom Baumbgardner, you own 3 Years Inc.
3 Years, Jose and I both.
Okay, so you guys are both.
Yeah. Yes.
And you're basically the management company for a few of these bands, one being 3 Years Hollow.
Correct.
Okay, cool. So we're back in the saddle. We're here. It's time. Hey, you were talking before we went on. You said, I hope people aren't sick of seeing me. Because Tom, you asked how many times is this for you being on MDR?
Yeah, it's just my fourth time.
It's your fourth time.
Wow, yeah, it's really cool.
Right.
And I distinctly remember the first time you and Tony were on, and you guys messaged me one day, and you're like, "Hey, we're going to Davenport. Tony's got this friend that's starting a radio show. It's his first one. Whatever. We're gonna go try it out."
That's right. You guys were on the very first episode,
episode
of the podcast.
Yeah.
And
you had name tags.
Dude, I was so
talk
crazy.
about that every time.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And you know what that was? That is now my son's bedroom. So, I had my studio in there, and then I had this white Walmart folding table that stuck out that you guys could sit at. And when they showed up, there's a bottle of water, there's a name tag, and everything. Because I didn't want them to feel. Well, I guess that probably made them feel uncomfortable, didn't it?
Yeah,
well, no,
right,
I mean,
right. You formalized it.
That's usually how things are, honestly, out, when we're doing radio shows out on the road or anything. You walk to a backstage area, and there's everybody's spot with their markers and their name tag. And
sure.
So, I mean, it was cool to come into it here also, you were doing it upright, as they say,
I think what was going on in my mind about it was, if you guys chuckled inside and thought, "Oh boy, here we go," then you were on the right track already. You were already clear.
We were off because we came in and we're like, "Whoa, this is so cool!"
Right.
Yeah, we were happy.
You know how when you have something come into your life that's this new thing, right? Everybody's got something that they that gives them purpose, right? And for me at the time, the whole band life thing was waning for me. I was doing nothing but covers. There wasn't really that much fulfillment in that. And I remember thinking of the idea of doing MDR, the podcast, and I'm like, you know what? People are gonna hate it. They're gonna laugh at me, and it's gonna be a joke. And I don't care if 10 people watch it. But I want a night out of once every other week or something that I can just sit with other musicians and have a round table talk.
Yeah, man.
And I don't give a shit who watches it.
Dude, that's a dream.
It is.
I've dreamed of that,
because
man.
you have to force that shit into your life now, and I've found a way to make it happen to where I can do this, because I have a family now, and so I just can't forget that feeling I had. I couldn't sleep at night thinking, man, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to go all out with it, and really do it and try to have as much fun with it as I can.
Yeah, this will be my thing now.
Yeah, and every waking minute I was like, "What? Am I really going to do this? This is happening. I'm going to do it." And I was excited, man, and I had purpose, And
man.
So for me, this whole MDR thing is kind of been a lifesaver for me.
It's a really cool thing you got going on, man. I mean, it's something that is pretty much brought up in every conversation that any band has when they come into the studio, or
unless they can't be on the show.
Well, right? unless they're too heavy.
No, that might cause them to bring it up.
I'm not talking about MDR, man. Fuck them guys. They've never asked us to be on.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of the first places that you can get some great support, and that's really, really cool for new bands to have. So.
Yeah, sometimes I sit around and I think about, like, you know, how some people that as soon as you say local music scene, they're already like, oh boy, you know, oh boy. And for me to be so stoked about it and so, you know, upfront about it, I mean, cheesy enough to wear an Alborn shirt during my podcast, you know, people laugh at that kind of stuff because they're hiding behind some sort of like disconnection and insecurity themselves. And they're not willing to, you know, step out and be supportive in the ways that, you know, I'm not saying that I've said it before, every band in the Quad Cities isn't the greatest band, right? But there are some that are really good, and they're ready to go to the next level. You know, and a lot of them bands are coming. That's just a coffee maker. I try to time that so it's done doing that by the time we do the podcast.
Actually, that's an extra life on asteroids. That is. No, I noticed that Alex Razor changed his profile picture to himself playing drums. He's wearing a Minor Disturbance Radio T-shirt.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah. They do that sometimes.
That's pretty cool.
It's
awesome.
That's pretty cool.
But I guess my point was, you know, I'm not afraid to just go, look, man, it's time to pass the baton. You know, I'll stand here and say, you know, there's some good music coming out. You know, because when I was doing it, of course, my band was the only band that was good, you know, until I met Mariana's.
Yeah.
And then that was a rude awakening. You know, but you know how it is. You get the ego thing going and it's all competition. Now I get to step back and just watch the dogs fight, you know, and look at the toughest ones. And there's some really good ones. Yeah. And I'm not bashful or ashamed to be in this position and talk about the local music scene. Not at all.
Yeah, man. I guess what's strange from my position is I never really think of or see the negatives. I don't see or hear about the shit talking, so to speak. I just see the comments that say, man, that was a really awesome episode and love what you're doing, Brian. And those are the ones that stand out to me. And
I wish there was, when that happens, it's awesome. So if you're watching the podcast and you want to say something, even if it's like, Brian, your hair looks dumb, do it.
Yeah.
And I'm having a horrible hair day too.
Yeah.
My wife was telling me, she's like, wear a hat, you old bastard. And I was like, well, do my hair. And doing my hair means going to Walgreens and getting the L'Oreal soft black. You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
I can't do the blue black anymore.
No, can't do that anymore, man.
I used to. That was horrible. People were like, dude, is that a wig?
Dude, it discolored the skin on your shoulders.
Because the eyebrow hair, you know, goes gray, and then this stuff goes gray, and then I'm trying to act like I still have a full head of black hair.
This is a good look for you, though. I mean,
full head of black hair. You hear that, Tom? Full head of black hair. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't care what color it turned if it was just
Hey, at least when you have a bad hair day, you're having a hair day.
You're right.
Ass.
I bet we spent a lot less on barbers than he does, though. So.
Yeah, that's probably
You
true.
know how much I spent on a barber this year?
How much?
Well, actually, I did go get a haircut this year.
Oh.
One time.
Well, that's so weird.
Yeah.
I took a shower this year. Like one time.
Happy shower day.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, that's, you know, a lot of people say that to me. They're like, why do you keep your hair long like that? And I'm like, well, I got to grow it for my toupee that I'm going to need probably someday.
Right.
Or, you know, at least I can grow it. You know, at least I can throw color on this and make it look like something. But I'm just letting it go. Fuck it. I'm old.
Yeah.
I'm old.
What are you going to do?
What Gallagher say?
I'm waiting for those gray hairs to pop through. They're coming.
Oh, yeah. They're on their way.
Yep,
they're on their way, man.
Are you just going to let it go if it does?
For sure. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah,
diet.
No, don't diet or diet.
Just the natural process of things.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Display it, man.
I saw an interview the other day with Kiss, and they were getting ready. You know, they're getting ready to go do their farewell again. Shut up, Travis. I see that smirk. They're doing their end of the road tour, and I saw an interview with them. And here's Paul Stanley. You know, I can't go one podcast without imitating him, because whenever I quote Paul Stanley, I have to kind of talk like him.
Do the voice,
right? Anyway, he was talking, and I was looking at him, and I'm like, that looks like real fucking hair. it looks, and it's, dark, not blue black, but it's really dark, and I'm looking up here where it's growing out, and I'm like, that's real, man. It seems connected to me. Either that or they're really good at doing.
Some of it is really impressive.
Maynard wears wigs every time he performs with a perfect circle. That's a wig, and it looks as real as can be.
Man.
Yeah.
He chooses a different hairpiece for all of his performances with a perfect circle. So
As far as Kiss goes, when I was looking at him, I was like, okay, it's there, but it's not as long as it is when you see him on stage. Like when he's in his makeup, it's not as blue black either. So I'm thinking,
that girl got a weave.
yeah, how in the hell can you look like that, and then tomorrow night you'll look like this other thing?
Yep.
They've got to be wigs. The man's 66 years old.
for sure.
Yeah.
And he's out there still doing his thing,
God bless him.
And I look at them and all the cool clothes they're wearing. I'm like, where do they get their clothes? And then you start to see through everything, and you see this old man.
He'd just be like, I have them made.
I'm still waiting for, there was the talk about Kiss when they hang it up, basically recruiting a whole new team to become Kiss.
Right.
And then
We've had that discussion
we
before.
did. We talked about that.
And Brian's like, man, I'd still go see it.
No,
but
I wouldn't.
won't be happy about it.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't go see it?
Well, like the Ronnie James Dio hologram. He's going to be performing 120 shows in 2019.
The hologram.
You want to know
hologram.
something? That's what YouTube's for. Go look up a bunch of old concerts of him actually singing. Sit on your couch.
It's happening.
And watch it.
I mean, he's the first one. We'll see how this goes. But I think it was 120 shows. That's a lot of.
If he can do it, then Michael Jackson can sell out.
Yeah.
And Prince.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. That's on its way.
You could have a night with Prince
That's
and
what I'm
Michael
just saying.
Jackson on the same night.
If this is the first one, just imagine what's coming. If this is the first one.
For sure, man.
Well, shit, then you don't even have to go on tour. You can just send your holograms on tour.
That's the thing,
That's
man.
what the job of a management
There you
team
go.
should
There
be.
it is.
Look at that. See,
There it
I
is.
came up with it.
No, that was from the 80s. It was called Gem and the Holograms, and they were truly, truly, truly outrageous.
Well, I wasn't even going to get tickets to go see Kiss this time.
You weren't going to?
No, because I was like, all right, it's the last money grab. I'm not falling for it. I've seen them enough. I've seen them like 15 times.
Yet.
It's not as exciting every time for you.
You still got tickets, though, didn't you?
Here's why.
Okay.
And tell me if this isn't the coolest reason. Tom, you and I will be on the same side.
Okay, this isn't the coolest reason.
Well, it is the coolest reason, Travis. And I'll tell you why.
All right.
My daughter's 8, and she likes Kiss because I showed it to her at a very young age, and she thought it was just like I did when I was a kid. They were like, whoa, are these people real? Is this really happening?
Yeah.
And she's at the age where she can sit through an hour and a half of this type of stuff. And I would be a horrible father to not take my daughter to go see Kiss before they hang it up.
concert,
So that she can actually talk to her friends, when she gets a little older and say, I saw Kiss. And they'll be like, whoa, because remember, like nowadays people are like, I saw Led
Back
Zeppelin.
in 2018.
Yeah.
I saw Led Zeppelin. I saw the Rolling Stones. They're still doing Led Zeppelin, but they're still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want her to come at me later in life and be like, how come you never took me to see Kiss? And I was, but I'm taking her. So I'm a Father of the Year.
Yeah. You told me that reason last week.
$140 ticket later.
Wow. Happy birthday.
Yep.
And where did that
Final
get you?
cash grab.
I bought 5 of them.
5.
Oh.
Yeah, and that pales in comparison.
like a
Where does that get
vacation.
me?
Yeah, where?
That gets me. Well, see here. You know what? I had the price. I can put it up on the podcast. I can show you the pricing chart for the concerts. They start at the very front row is $1,000.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Second row is $750.
Jesus.
And then they have a certain color of seating. I can't see the seating chart right now, but there's a certain section that's, it's close and it's on the sides and it's a little area that's close. And them are, I want to say, like $250 or something like that. And then the next one down is the $129 or $139. And that's what I went for because I'm not.
No.
I just did the Paul McCartney thing. I just bought tickets for my mom because my mom's a huge Beatles fan, and she was like, "I'm not gonna be able to go because they sold out like that, right?"
Yeah.
And I used a friend of mine, Scott Mullen, who runs the Tax Slayer. I was like, "Dude, what do I got to do to get Paul McCartney tickets?" And he said, "Get your credit card out." And I was like, "Okay, I need 4 of them." For my 2 sisters, me, and my mom. And we're going to surprise her and get tickets because she couldn't get them. And she was bummed. She wouldn't even talk to me. I'd come over like, how you doing? She's like, I don't want to talk to you.
You just remind me of rock and roll. And I don't like it.
Yeah. And she's like, I'm just sad. And so we had to tell her, we're like, we got
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're freaking me out, man.
I was looking for a Kleenex.
It's over there.
Dripping.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. What the hell?
You got a monster in your pocket.
I totally just nutsack activated the screen read. And here's what's really fucked up. I mistook it for my own voice.
I know. I was like, "What are you? Is the TV? Did the TV turn on?"
Yeah. No, I was going to agree with you and remind you that you did tell me that about taking your kids last week, and I agreed with you that is actually the probably only legitimate reason to go and see Kiss at this point.
But I will have the hearing protection on my daughter.
Good.
Not like Kiss is loud anymore. But no, the Paul McCartney thing, them tickets were $300 apiece. So that I was like, I didn't even really want to go, but my sisters who have better jobs than me, and they, they're like, why don't we surprise? I'm like,
Why don't we split the cost?
that's going to cost me. Yeah, that's going to be a lot. Anyway, so I've got a whole. The Tax Slayer Center is busting my budget. So I'll do the Kiss thing, the Paul McCartney
It's a good
thing.
problem to have, though.
I might lay off of it
A lot
for
of
a
good
little
shows.
bit. Mm-hmm.
That is good.
Well, I don't know. I think Kiss is going to be more fire and more of that than because Paul can't sing anymore. And nothing against him. He's always been a great front man, but his voice is gone. When you're 66 years old and you're still trying to sing 3 Years Hollow songs, you're gonna, you know what I mean? You'll get a dose of what that's like.
I can barely sing them anymore.
Although, in fairness, I saw something fairly recently with Sammy Hagar, and that dude can
He's really good.
actually
Oh my
still
God.
sing,
Yeah,
dude.
he's really
It's
good.
kind of
Yeah.
unbelievable. He's sort of a freak of nature.
Right.
Now, he can't hit all the highest notes, but
He said in interviews that he can't sing like some of the early Van Halen stuff.
Yeah.
The 5150 album, things like that. He can't hit the notes he was hitting there.
he was basically just doing tricks to make it so
Right.
that we understood what the differentiation was between
Right.
who was singing before and who is singing now. Like,
Yeah.
he hit some crazy note in the song 5150.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
that's like higher than Michael Anthony can hit. And
Yes.
that dude is a fucking soprano.
I've got a big question for you, Jose, and I've got a lot of questions for both of you.
Uh-oh.
And I might bounce around, and I'm sorry to the audience if I do that, but
8 3/4 inches.
bouncing around.
now 3 Years Hollow has been local heroes for several years now, and I'm sure that you've broadened your horizons. You've toured and you've been across the United States. You've been to every state in the United States, right?
Except for Washington, Hawaii, and Alaska.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the 3.
Get your management on that shit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But where is 3 Years Hollow right now? I mean, I've heard some stuff, and I just kind of want to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah. Well, I think even the last couple times we were on here, we talked about how everybody was just kind of getting their lives together, and that has happened for the most part. So I think over the last 3 or 4 months, we've been writing a new record. So there's 5 songs done, probably 30 demos that we've written over the last couple years. But the focus is a lot different than it's ever been in the past. The last record kind of came from nowhere. We were recording on our own. We wanted to go out on tour. It was the dream. And then magically one day, our song is number 1 on Octane, and it was pretty much just written on the wall. It's time to go, and it's something that I liked about your podcast with Alborn. Sometimes there are things that just happen that say, okay, this seems like the best opportunity for us to go ahead and make this jump. Let's do it. So we did all that, we did that for 3 years, and now, all I've really come to realize is that nothing really else matters other than the music, which maybe took a little bit too long to come to realize, but who's in the band, how many shows we're playing, who we're playing for, what we're doing, none of that really matters if we're not all together in a room creating the best music that we can create. So that is the only focus of 3 Years Hollow right now. We don't care about anything else. We're just writing the best music that we can.
How often do you guys get together?
I write 3 Years Hollow music twice a week for about 4 hours each session.
Is it the same members?
It's not the same members. Nope, it's not. And I really can't even get into the members part because nothing's in stone. I'm just in a weird place, I guess. For me, I want everybody to be on the same page and have the same goals and not be distracted by certain things that can distract somebody. And
first of all, you're a hero to a lot of these guys in the local scene. I mean, you've seen it, you've done it, you felt it, you've looked it right in the face. And what you're saying right now is it almost sounds like I'm at like a political rally where you're not really answering the question, but you know what I mean?
Well, he's got to be careful.
Well, I'm not trying to cause, trust me, I am not into, trying to cause a rift or anything.
Yeah, no, I don't think it'd cause any kind of rift. Just for me, really, I've come to the position that there is nothing else that matters other than writing the best music that we can. And until we're all in a room looking at each other saying this is the best material that we can come up with, I guess I'm really not thinking about anything else as far as my career in 3 Years Hollow goes.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of bands. I produce a ton of bands. I've got my hands in a lot of stuff.
Do you think that the producing and engineering of at the studio is that kind of like your MDR in a way? Is that kind of taking the time away from the focus of 3 Years Hollow, or
you
found a new home?
Yeah, I felt that when we got home a couple years ago and I did my first record with Another Lost Year, where I got to really be there from the creation of it. The band came in with absolutely nothing, no riffs, no ideas, no lyrics or anything, and we sat there and created that entire record on the spot from nothing. So that was like, I realized that being a part of that creative process really kind of fulfilled everything for me. I felt like it was just as much mine as it was. And, then they went out on the road and toured it, and I got to sit back at home and watch it, always knowing that 3 Years Hollow is definitely going to be swinging back. But I think all of that had to happen in order for me to get clarity on really what's important, as far as 3 Years Hollow goes.
Well, I know 3 Years Hollow as Jose, Tony Reeves, Chris Cushman, and Dex, and of course Neil. I'm sorry. I have my shit together for the most part, other than I can't remember shit sometimes. But one of them members in your band I've known for years. He actually got me the gig in a band I was in called Third Rail, an 80s tribute band. He was playing drums for him. It's Tony Reeves, and I haven't heard from him in a long time. And when he got doing the 3 Years Hollow thing, I was so, well, besides being jealous of the fact that he was actually taking a shot.
Right.
And the music was really good. I mean, I remember when Chemical Ride came out, everybody was on the same page as like, oh, they're gone, dude. This is it. And you kind of smelled it, it was coming. And then some things, I've heard things with Tony. How is he doing? Because I haven't seen him in a long time, and I hope he's good, man.
Tony's really good, actually. I just wrote with him last night. So he was out for 3 hours, and we were writing new material, and he's doing good. I mean, it is really hard to talk about, without really going into people's personal lives and all that sort of thing. And I won't really do that. But some people's journeys just take longer than others, and I guess for me, all I've done this year is just, I'm going to work. Whoever shows up, and if you can't, there must be a good reason for it, and I'm going to keep on with the train until things change, So
you're doing a full-length record then?
Yes.
And you and I will be on it?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm dying to hear some more stuff.
Yeah.
Are you going to wait to release the whole thing, or are you going to do them one at a time? I should be asking your management this.
No, see, that's the best part about all of this is we didn't renew our option for our record deal. We chose to just go independent, which was like the greatest feeling in the world, because there's no more waiting for somebody else to make a decision for you. You know, pretty much you just wake up, you decide you want to put out a song, you put out a song. Great. So that's what we're doing right now. You know, You and I was random. We are like, it's been so long. We have this song here. We just want people to hear it. Let's just put it out.
Have you made more money on You and I than you did on the entire Cracks record?
Yeah.
And
Wow.
the reason I'm asking you that
No,
is because
seriously, though. Yeah.
the reason I'm asking you that is because you had a label.
Yeah.
And when you did that record, I'm sure that you had to, the record wanted to recoup. But if you were doing one song, a one-off,
It's hilarious, but you're correct. Yes.
yeah, and so just one song, just by downloads, you could actually make more of a profit.
Yeah.
That
We before we were even signed, when we released our EP through TuneCore, we sold like $18,000 worth of downloads on our own before we were.
I'm sorry, can you say that again? No, the reason I really was thinking about something else, and I want to hear that again.
No, before we were signed, we did $18,000 in single sales.
What single?
Our 5-song EP, Remember.
Okay.
So just, 18,000 downloads. Well, probably more, 21,000 downloads.
And it's $1 per download?
Yep. So before
And you get all of that?
Yeah.
So when you see the download for 99 cents, the band gets all of that?
No.
It depends on what site and what kind of deal you
Correct.
got.
Depends
Yeah.
on who your distributor is.
Okay.
Some distributors take more money than others, but it was like 22,000 downloads. We got $19,000 for, so that kind of gives you the. So then we got signed, and we never saw another dollar from music sales for the next 4 years. Basically, the label recoups everything because they're putting up all the money, rightfully so. When they're putting up $100,000.
Sure.
I just want everybody to know that I'm going to try to cut between cameras here and show you Tom Baumbgardner's forehead is not sweating. Jose, you make it look like this place is a fucking sauna.
Dude, I got this thing. It's this sweating problem. It's just, I sweat like crazy. It's
hyperhidrosis.
The
We
temperature
keep
on
it
that
comfortable in
half of
here.
the room.
Yeah, I think it's pretty
I
good.
mean, it's not 65, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna sweat.
Yeah.
All right.
Could take
I was
off
gonna
this,
say,
It might have
you
been
should
the
probably wear a
questioning,
fucking
too.
hoodie then,
Yeah.
No, it's just this happens to me.
The interrogation light
Yeah.
above his head.
Exactly. How long have you been writing bad checks?
Yeah.
Do you know how many units you sold for the Cracks?
Still to this day, we do not.
You don't even have like
Right.
a guess?
Nope.
Okay, there's a parallel to this.
See, because I'd fucking know.
Honestly, it's hard for us to get answers from the record label. Like
they don't want to fucking tell
5
you.
months. We would go like we were asking for CDs because we needed to ship CDs to people that were ordering them, and it was like 7 months, and they still wouldn't send us any. So, I mean, that's another reason why we're so happy to be done with our deal.
Oh, shit.
Who
you want
printed,
people
who
to do
printed the
things-
CDs?
Correct. The label handles all of that.
Okay, did you know what the first run was? Was it 1,000? Was it 5,000?
We did not have any details of any of this
Oh,
stuff.
fuck, man.
No.
Every time I put gas in my car, one of the things that really fucking makes me mad is the fact that if you look at the thing that you're supposed to use to tell how much of that stuff is in your car, it doesn't tell you anything specific. There's just E and F, right? So they could be fucking you
Somewhere in between.
19
Absolutely.
different ways, and you have
Absolutely.
absolutely no way to
Absolutely
verify
right.
anything.
And
So my guess is they made money
the
and didn't give you anything. That would be my fucking guess.
Well, I mean, basically, yeah, they put up a lot of risk and they're going to recoup for as long as they can, and it's a very interesting thing. We didn't have. I felt like I didn't have any pieces to play with. It was like, well, they have all the power.
Yeah.
I can't really do anything. All I can do is ask you, and if you're not going to tell me, then sooner or later I'm just going to stop trying.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere in that, the before you were signed to today that you think that you would have done different?
Oh gosh, yes.
He would have read the contract, Brian. He would have read the
I'm sure they
motherfucker.
read the contract.
I mean,
Yeah.
we had a great legal team with the contract doing the negotiations and everything. It was Jacoby from Papa Roach's lawyer, who's negotiated a lot of contracts. So that was all fine. It's just, yeah, I when we were going through it, we didn't really have guidance along the way of, maybe you should do this or do that or do this or don't do that. We were all kind of just doing what we thought was going to work, and sometimes it did and sometimes it didn't.
We definitely networked with other bands or people that had been through the situation, but
Right.
Every experience I think is a little bit different.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of things we could have said. We would have done different in hindsight. But the biggest thing that I tell every band that I work with that says that they want to do this for their living, they want to do this for a career, is don't make the mistake of thinking that the music and that industry is going to be what supports you. It's not. That's not the way that it works anymore. Now, it is if you go to California, hire a $10,000 retainer lawyer and shop your demo to the 3 major labels and they like it, or somebody there, yes, it can still happen. They will still sign you.
That's not going to happen with rock, really.
Exactly.
No.
It's not going to happen with rock.
It's going to be pop.
So it is possible in other genres, but if you're in rock and you want to do this, you better figure out a way to configure your life to be able to do this. And that's what I love about working with Alborn, is those dudes have it locked down.
Do they?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Alborn, I had them on the show last time, and they did a great job. They were a lot of fun. I'm not sure that a couple of the members were ready for what was about to happen, but
that poor bass player.
yeah.
I was mean.
I don't know if he knew how to take us.
I was mean to Zame. I really was.
Well, we're mean to all of them.
But he deserves it.
I could see Zame. Zame is an easy target, I feel like. He's just he's the cuddly one.
He is.
Well,
he is.
Here, I wanted to say something about Alborn, and I don't want to be talking out of school because I think they're a great band, and I really enjoyed having them on the show, and I want the best for them. I really do. So, but there's one thing that really that happened recently that bothered me with them, and that was, we had them on our show, and then like 2 or 3 days later, they were on the Dwyer and Michael show. Now, that's a really cool outlet. There's, that's a way to be in front of anywhere up to like 20,000 people. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
It's a huge show. It's the biggest morning show in the market.
We were actually scheduled with them before we were scheduled with you.
Oh, no. That's not what my contention is at all. I don't care about that. I'm glad that they were on Dwyer and Michaels. Mm-hmm. We had them first, but here's what I was going to say about that. They did a live performance on Dwyer and Michaels. Okay, and I was out listening to it, and I wanted to hear what they were going to do because, in my position, I want to hear all the nuts and bolts of what these bands are doing to promote their music. Mm-hmm. And and we've listened to the song. It's in the top 3 on the MDR top hits. It's number 1 right now, I think. I haven't checked this week, but I think it's number 1 still. The new Full Circle single. Yeah, it sounds amazing. Now, agree with me on this. Is the hook of that song not the initial verse with the harmony? Get in the water. But that part right there, okay? What does that... And everybody says, "Oh, it reminds me of who? Alice in Chains."
Yeah.
Okay, now
let me tell you. My coworkers.
Let me tell you something about Alice in Chains. Mm-hmm. They would have never gone on a radio show and played that song acoustically without the fucking harmonies.
Right.
I was like this, going, "Why are they not singing the backups right now? Why is that not tight as fuck with the backups?" I know he did a brilliant job of changing the notes around so that he could reach it, and everything was there
for sure.
But a
lot of bands don't actually sing harmonies live.
Well, then you know what? Here's what I'm going to say about that. Then your sound's not real.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean we've got like 6-7 harmonies on our record.
If you went and saw Alice in Chains and they didn't do the 5th harmonies or the 4th harmonies and all the songs, wouldn't you be like, wait a second?
I mean, I mean, there's some times on our songs where I've got 5 voices on our stuff, and we don't do that stuff live. So,
well, I don't think that's what Brian's really.
That's not my point.
About.
My point is,
because
it depends where you go.
My point is, I was waiting.
I kind of agree.
I was waiting for Alborn to kick the fucking doors open as soon as that harmony came in because it's great. I don't know who else in the band normally would do that live.
No one, I don't think. No.
That's got to change. And I guess I should be telling that to them.
They're working on that, yeah.
I guess I should be saying that to them because it's too strong a material to have one of the tires flat. You know what I mean? Because you didn't get the full brunt of that song the way that they did it. I mean, a lot of people were like, "Oh, it was a great performance and that's wonderful." It would have been. That's what bands are on the next level. That's what they do.
Yeah, for sure.
I guarantee if you had fucking Boston on there, you'd be hearing 3-part harmonies.
Yeah,
the whole time. You know what I mean?
All I can really say to that is I'm guilty of the exact same thing. You know, I mean, I layer the shit out of harmonies on the record, and we do not perform them live.
The only
ever.
way that wouldn't make sense is maybe if they didn't have enough mics in the studio.
I mean, some amount of this is just how it is that we've all come to manage our expectations in the age of digital recording technology in the hands of all of us putzes. Is that, you know, you hear a record and then you're, okay, we're going to check this band out live. Here's what you know. Whatever it is you heard on that recording, you ain't about to hear that.
Right.
You're going to hear something different.
And there's some bands where you will hear that recording. In fact, you'll hear the
actual recording.
Yeah, you will actually hear the playback.
And there's everything about that I hate, which is why I'm almost like, if there's not a couple harmonies there that are on the record, this is real.
That could be all right.
This is the real.
The question is the question that I think that what Brian is driving at here is, what are the essential elements to deliver the full impression of the song, even if you don't meticulously deliver every single element.
Yeah, I mean, I
kind of agree with Brian that
no. That's like me showing you a schematic of this house I'm going to build you, but I didn't put the back porch or the front porch on.
No, but it's got to have walls and a roof. You know what I mean? It's walls and a roof, you know?
You understand what I'm saying?
There's something very specific also why you feel this way. I mean, that harmony is the first thing that grabs your attention.
That's what I said, right?
It's the hook, man.
Yeah, it's like right away. It's not like just something in the background. So yes, you do have to try to present.
Again, what's important.
Love that band. Love the guys in it. Love the music. You know, this is not a rant on Alborn. Other than if I were their management, I would have told them, work them harmonies out, because when you do this type of stuff,
you can't work harmonies out if you don't have somebody that can sing harmonies. So
then you need to change. Then you need to change the member of your band. Or not write the harmonies in. Okay.
Yeah, I'm with Rob Cimarusty on this school of thought. You know, I worked with him forever, and everybody that he always worked with, he said, when you're in the studio, do it up. Yeah. Put everything on that record. It doesn't matter if you're not going to do it all live.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
I'll put all of it on there.
Here's what I remember about Rob, though, is I remember watching Rob sing the fucking harmonies from the mixing board.
Absolutely.
In order to make it so the band that's playing, that he recorded their album, even Rob knew that there were certain elements that if they were in the song and they made the song happen, you can't not include them live without making it fucking crumble.
He was always drilling in our heads, sit around in a circle with your acoustic guitars and sing those harmonies over and over.
He's from the same school I am.
He's from the same school I am too,
I totally get it, but in a situation where there is not an option, we just go with whatever we can do, and we work towards building it up in the future.
I hear that,
and I'm not, like I said, I'm
Brian starts
totally
on the same side
Vanilli as Alborn, but when they and that's fine. You know, I would almost be okay with them, playing to a click and canning the backups.
I'm not okay
I would rather have it so that if I paid the money to go see Alborn, I'm going to go see them because of the way they sound. I'm not going to see them because of the way they look.
I'm going to go.
Obviously, they're wearing Carhartt shirts and grease all over their sleeves.
Okay, I can't get behind that, Brian, because to me, one of the things like that might be just a bit more important than having the right vocal harmony is having the rhythm section feel like they're human fucking beings, dude. And I only know of a few people on planet Earth that can deliver a humanistic rhythm to a click.
I love you, Travis, and I agree with what you just said, but why are we sitting here arguing about what percentage of the music that they write we get to hear live?
Well,
I don't think we should have that fucking argument.
But don't try to say that you can just add in an element at the expense of some other more important element.
I never said that.
That's what I thought you were saying. Play to a click track and can the fucking...
I would rather them do that.
Boy, I wouldn't.
Than not hear it?
Than not hear it.
That's interesting.
And I just think that that's one of the stronger things that Alborn brings to the table. All of the songs that we play on MDR have really tight harmonies.
I would actually judge them far harder if they got up there and they were this awesome, badass Alice in Chains sounding band, and that harmony came from a track. they would instantly just be no respect in my
Like
book.
you'd look and you'd see there's one dude singing yet.
But
I'm
if they
only
come
hearing
out
the
there
back.
and they're missing the harmony that's on the record,
Well, if
I'm
you're
not
smart,
gonna-
you
I'm
have
not
the
gonna
bass
care.
player step up to the mic and go
that's what
act
that-
like he's fucking singing.
I mean, that's what all new bands do. They grow in their live performances.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we're at.
I don't know. That's just my take on it. I was like, the people that heard it, some were like, "Oh, that's cool." It would have been a lot cooler if that verse came in with that harmony, because I'd have been they're pros.
Yeah, you got to remember.
No, listen,
the
that's a
first
pro
time they ever
band.
played
Then
that song acoustic too. So
I understand, and like I said, I'm not busting their balls. I'm just saying just like I said with them, when the bell rings, you better be ready to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're gonna go on Dwyer and Michaels and you're gonna present your fucking business and your craft, be ready to do it.
Yeah, in my opinion, they fucking killed it. So,
They did a wonderful job, but I'm just saying that's what I'd say. Local music, man. What makes you
Next level.
step above that?
Yeah.
And they're right there. And just them little decisions
that's
like
why
that.
they're not
I'm
on the
like,
road. You
man,
know,
if I-
they're a new band.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a
I get it,
brand
man.
new band.
I get
they,
it.
they
So-
don't even have a record out.
But it's criticisms like this that I think are well founded and constructive. They're not like negative talking.
Not at
really.
all.
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
saying that.
That's the kind of stuff that's gonna if
I
they
did-
listen.
I didn't lose any
Exactly.
respect for the
Yeah.
band. I didn't
Yeah.
lose any love for the music. Not at all. I'm just saying that at my age, looking back at maybe some stuff I've done in the past to just kind of get through things or to just to get it done. You really got to focus on that, because these listeners, I'm just going to be honest. These listeners that were listening to Dwyer and Michaels while they were playing acoustically in the studio, they're housewives. They're getting ready for work. They don't know shit about engineering. They don't know shit about writing songs or harmonies. All they know is that it sounded different.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're going to judge you on every little fall off of flatness. As soon as you hit a flat note on Dwyer and Michaels, it is in your face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He did a great. I was listening for that too. I was like, "Ooh, don't fall out," because he got a little bit risky sometimes.
Yeah.
He did a few little trills in there, and
get
I was
pitchy.
like,
I guess I just see this.
But he landed
such
them.
an
He did it.
interesting topic.
He landed
because
them.
Yeah.
Some of the greatest performances in history by some great frontmans are not perfect.
Yeah, I
They
agree.
Are off key and their voices
Yeah.
crack and
"That's you young kids liking that bullshit."
Well,
that's
I mean,
Kurt Cobain missing that note in
Oh,
The
God.
Man That Sold
We're not
the
gonna-
World, dude.
I'm not gonna talk about that crap.
Yeah, no, but
I like the
yeah.
part where he fucked up.
No, I hated it, and now, like, if it weren't that way, I'd be pissed. Like,
Yeah,
that's what
I
it's supposed
understand
to
what
be,
you're
you
saying.
know?
I mean, there's
Yeah.
got to be an element of danger. Like you can fall off a little.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, when you're doing an acoustic version of something on a radio show, the way it's going out from there, it's not going to be it's not going to cater to you much. It's going to expose you.
yeah. I guess it's
And
just
there's a difference between being a little flat on a track where you can glisten it a little bit, but there's being like 50 cents off through the radio acoustically through a radio mic. That's gonna be like, oh, and people could be like, ooh, I don't like that. They're gonna think that that's what their music sounds like, and he never did. I'm not saying Albarn missed, because he didn't. I was waiting for it. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
please,
right.
please don't do that. And they did a great job. They
were
killed
good.
it.
Ryan was on the edge of his
They
seat.
killed it. There was a great performance. I just wanted to see them at that next level, that people would be taken aback by it. And
I
just
mean,
like,
it was
holy
almost
shit.
just Justin by himself, which,
Yep.
again, people do that all the time.
Yeah.
Then there definitely wouldn't have been a harmony, and
Now, I thought
nobody would have thought anything of it.
I thought Alex Razor sang. I thought he was a singer.
He does the screams.
Oh, he just does the
Anything that you hear
screams.
on the record where they're screaming,
Okay.
that's Alex.
Well, whatever he does, I mean, it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, we learned all of really what they could do in the studio when we're putting all this stuff together. So even Razor didn't know that he could really do some of those things, and just found that out.
Right.
So this band, to me, very much is in that first 2-year development stage that labels used to do back in the day, where they'd say, you're signed, your debut record's not going to come out for 2 years, and
Right.
over these next 2 years we are going to develop you in every single way, so that when you get on the road, there is no gotchas. There's
Yeah.
nothing that's going to make you have
I like
to
how you
come
said that.
home. So
Yeah.
Gotchas.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was trying to talk to him about, as far as being ready, because that is usually the pit of death for most local bands is they work so hard to get popular here, and they get their record and their songs written and they get a little bit of a following, and then it's like, oh hey guys, you want to fucking jump on this tour?
Right.
And they're like, I got a job, you know, I got all these things that I did. What do you mean? Let me get ready for that. Let me get a couple years. No, we gotta go now. You know, and that's what I was trying to tell them is they're young enough.
Yeah.
You know, the music's quality enough.
They're young enough, and they've already all configured their lives so that they can come and go as they need.
Well, like, what do you mean by that exactly? I mean, I have my own ideas about what I think you mean, but like, can you talk about that a little bit?
So, like, my position, for example, my situation in life in the last 6 months has changed. After 15 years of hustling and everything, I feel like I have finally configured my life and got myself to a position where I work from a laptop. Anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world.
It's kind of amazing.
So I can go anywhere at any time, and I can do my job, and I can play a show at night if I want to.
You're talking about like a job, not mixing or editing, but you could do.
Job is
you're in the IT world.
The world job is it can mean anything. I could co-own a startup tech company in California, and that's a job.
But you're talking about like telecommuting.
Correct.
So-called telecommuting.
Well, you rolled up in a fucking Denali tonight, so and I said, "What the hell happened?" And he's like, "Well."
Just remember that's an anagram of denial.
Right. It's so yeah, the configuring thing. It's really just when it comes time to go on the road. Okay, when you got to do that tour thing, it's not like it's just going to be okay. We're leaving for 3 weeks, and then we're coming back, and that's going to be it. You get to go back to your job, and everything's fine. No, if it's going the way that you want it to go, it's going to be we're gone for 3 weeks. You're back for 2 weeks, and then there's another tour that pops up, and then you're going again, and then you're back. So once you make that decision to leave that job, pretty much that job is gone, unless you have had a conversation with your boss and told them point blank everything that your goals are, your plans are, everything that you want to do, show them the opportunities that have been presented to you, and people see that and they're like, man, this kid is getting to do something that not a lot of people get to do. I'm going to do everything I can to support that. Right. So you can go on the road, and anytime you come home, you come back here and you work.
Now, not all lines of work are amenable to that.
Exactly.
Though, and IT is one of those, like my wife is an IT professional at Deere, and 2 days a week she can stay home and just work from her computer.
Right.
Because she just logs into their VPN and can get all the information.
Yeah, things have changed that way. I remember my bass player Jerry Smith saying the same thing. I was like, so what happens, man, if we got to go, it's time, and we were all thinking about, well, if we wanted to go to the next level, could we? Because he had a really nice IT situation too. And he just said, he's like, it's in the day and age right now where I can just work from my laptop wherever I'm at. That's cool. If it came to that.
They're hiring more of those every single day. I mean, companies are hiring remote engineers every single day.
It's cheaper for them because they don't have to have as much brick and mortar space and cubicles and all that kind of shit.
Be honest, have you ever done your job naked?
No.
Never. Not just to even do it, just to be like, I'm working naked.
Well, my job is I work from the studio. I have an office in the studio, so there's always
people around,
traffic and things. So
even better.
Working naked
I was gonna say, that's a good reason.
Even better.
But yeah, I mean, it is really crazy. I literally get to work full time now from my office at the studio for this tech company out of California. And if I need to go on the road, I go on the road. And life is, I feel like, finally kind of come around after 15 years of hustling. And that's why I tell these bands, when you commit to doing this for a career, you have to get this mindset out, like, oh, if it doesn't happen tomorrow or next year, it's over. No, you've already committed to doing it for 20 years. You said you wanted it to be your life career. So it doesn't matter what happens in 2 years. You've already committed to 20. So just keep on making moves, as things come along. So
really the configuration is trying to make sure that you've got streams of income whose schedule is flexible enough that you can be sporadic with
Absolutely.
It. Okay.
Because if you there's only one thing that can derail a band, when you get that opportunity to go on the road, and that's a member not being able to pay their bills and having to leave the tour.
Right.
That is the only thing that can really derail your band.
Yeah.
Is financial situation.
Yeah.
Limiting your fixed expenses is the other half
Yeah,
of that
yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
going out and buying that $200,000 house is not a good idea.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
structure.
We tell
it
all these bands
flexible
no
as possible.
bills.
Yeah.
I mean, they got $500 of bills a month, and they've got thousands of dollars in their bank account. These dudes are ready to go when the opportunity calls itself,
deal.
and they will not have to come home because somebody can't pay their bills.
Right.
And that is what we're going to do with every band that we work with, because
So are you kind of developing bands as well?
yeah, that's what I'm doing now. I mean, now that, like I said, life has repaid in me and given me some resources. Yeah, I'm gonna help out even more with some of these bands.
So kind of what I'm hearing from you is you're getting some sort of stability and kind of growing a little bit of roots. I don't even think that if somebody was like, "Hey, do you want to go eat shit for a year on tour?" Would you even want to do that?
No, we don't have to do that anymore, thankfully.
Have to. See, now that's the
Yeah.
thing. If you make it to the level where you can tour, see, that's a lot of things that happen with local bands too. Is they're like, "We're gonna go on tour, man." That's the pinnacle.
Right.
They're leaving in their little
Right.
bus that they renovated and made into some sort of tour bus. They're like, "We're making it.
Right.
We're on the way." But then they come back and they're like, "I don't want to ever do that again." With
Yeah.
some bands.
I
I'm not
mean-
just saying some bands do.
To be a very successful band like the big bands that are out there, yes, you do need to tour a lot, but you also need to be you need to be hiring a publicist, and you need to have a lawyer, and you need to hire a radio team and marketing. So if you're doing those things, you're spending a lot of money, but you're making good money too. So it really just, once you get to this level, I think where we are with 3 Years Hollow, now we'll go out on very hand-picked tours that make sense for us, where we know we'll play in front of large audiences, and it may cost 10 grand, but I used to look at it in a different way. You used to think of it as buying on,
Right.
but the money that you're putting up is going directly to the marketing of the tour. So every dollar that your band is putting on is helping to show that, tour admat to
Well, you don't
more
think of it
people.
as a purchase so much as you think of it as an investment. It's a
right,
way to
right.
See,
grow
now
your
when
money,
we used to play like wherever Screamers, that's an old bar you don't know nothing about.
Yeah.
But we kept all that fucking money. You know what I mean? We didn't have to invest in shit other than our gas money to get there, which was 20 minutes away. Right? And we're like, what we make tonight? Man, we made fucking $300, guys.
Yeah, but I mean, it's sort of a low risk, low reward kind of thing.
What are you talking about? Low reward.
Low reward.
We whooped
man.
ass at Screamers.
Yeah, that one night.
No, we played there probably once a month. That was our tour.
I showed-
Screamers.
Yeah, exactly.
Then, we had like
We always
four-
used to joke about that, man. Like,
know.
you put together a tour T-shirt that just has all local venues.
Moline,
Moline.
Davenport. Well, it sounds like it's in
Right.
a big tour,
yeah,
but
but it's bi-state.
Moline, East Moline,
bi-state tour.
Davenport, West Davenport,
Traveled across states. It's an interstate tour.
Rock Island.
The dudes were talking about how we always scare them with the dark sides of everything, but I do show them. I mean, it is very real that you can still make a ton of money in the music industry, especially if you're smart and you have 2 other revenue streams on the side that you've built up along with your music industry.
It's your seed money.
Jose,
Yeah,
you're sitting
so-
right in the saddle. You kind of have your finger on the pulse of what's going on. I mean, chart wise and stuff like that, right? I mean, you have a pretty good idea of what shit's gonna sell and what shit's not.
Yeah, I mean,
Where
I
is-
don't know if anybody ever really knows, but I know what's on the charts, and I know what people are buying.
Where is rock and roll right now? Like hard rock. Where is it?
Great.
What percentage of the market do you think it occupies?
Well, there were 3 rock albums just in the top 10 on Billboard as far as album sales, which hasn't happened in a really, really long time.
What bands are them?
Disturbed was one of them.
Yeah.
Well, that's a band that's already made their.
Well, there's another one that was a brand new band. But I mean, it's really. I mean, festivals are selling out more than they ever have. I mean, 120,000 people are showing up to these rock festivals. Now there are even more that are happening next year. They're selling to these big companies.
That's the big news. Yeah.
Rock is really great. I mean, when we were on tour, when 3 Years Hollow was on tour, I swear that is going to be written in history as like the worst
That was a
last
dip.
4 years of the downward slope, and then every huge metal and rock band, starting with Metallica, put on a new record, and then rock and metal shot straight back up. So
Yeah.
it's very good right now.
Although the sales totals of album sales of modern charting albums, they just aren't nearly what the sales totals were in the days of rock radio and before downloading.
Now
all
your
that
success
stuff,
is more quantified by streams than it is by sales.
I always thought it was interesting, like with movies and shit like that, where they would always be like, and it's the biggest movie of all time, and they tell you some number. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, it's because tickets are 3 times what they were when fucking E.T. came out. You morons.
Right.
Tell me the number. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay, yeah, right.
Yeah, I just took my kids to a matinee to see Littlefoot. And they put you in the theater way in the back, like this little tiny theater that's at the end of the row there. You know, it's like, you're going to the kids section where they don't even try to clean it up. It smells like Chuck E. Cheese in there.
I'm pretty sure.
Stick to the floor.
I'm pretty sure music revenues are higher than they've ever been in the streaming world. I think
in the streaming,
but that movie cost me almost $50 to get myself, my wife, and the 2 kids. Just to get, it was like $30-something for the tickets, and then the popcorn was, of course, like 3 easy installments of $49.99.
Right.
But and so I'm like, man, they got me by the balls.
Well, it's just that with movies, the point I was trying to make is that the per unit price of movies is always going up, whereas the per unit price of songs is always going down. It's because the cost of duplication is always, just basically in a headlong charge towards zero. I mean, you basically now are just dividing the cost of your computer by the number of times you've, copied and pasted a file, and that's pretty sobering. That can't be where your money comes. Streaming kind of comes back because now you're looking at how it is that some of these new devices like Apple HomePods and this one's near and dear to your heart, Alexa, and Google Home and all this stuff, how these are making it so that people can just basically be streaming music all the time, which is going to crank the revenues up.
Playlists.
Easier.
Playlists are huge.
Playlists.
And just so everybody knows, my daughter was named that before that fucking thing came out.
Oh man, don't buy that one for your house.
Well, we'd have to. You can change the response name.
Feel bad for
I can change it to Twinkle
Siri.
Tits if I want to.
This is my kid Siri. I know. Don't say
You said
hey,
something
Siri.
along the lines of you and I making more money than we did from the record. Well, one of the reasons why that is even possible is because of Spotify. There are 40,000 unique listeners that tune into 3 Years Hollow every month and listen to our songs. 40,000 unique people. So those, if we put out you and I
don't know that they're that unique. I bet you they all are like have the same hairdo. You know what I mean?
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe
Unique
some beards.
people.
They all have beards.
You put out a new song and there's just instant revenue generated.
You guys got to know I'm joking, right? Okay, because I'm
no,
sure
unique is one of those backhanded words where you're like, hey, what did you think of my blah, blah, blah? And you're like, it was really
unique.
Yeah, but, thank you.
Yeah, that's some shit your mom would say to you, like, it was unique, honey.
Nice.
Yeah. I deal with that with my podcast. It's like YouTube is being a cunt about views. I mean, you could watch that on 10 different IP addresses, and they'll decide which ones they think are valid IP addresses.
Oh, man.
So it'll spike. I'll get a whole bunch of views, and then a couple days later, it'll drop it way down.
But this reminds me.
I'm like, what? What happened?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry to interrupt, but something just occurred to me, and it was the fact that, like, just last week or the week before, there was a major piece of legislation related to intellectual property music and streaming.
Yeah, the modern
Do you know
musician.
any of the details of that?
The modern music, can't even think.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Modernization Act.
Yeah,
That's what it's called.
Yeah,
yes.
right.
I just know that what it has to do with mostly is songwriters that are trying to collect digital royalties from songs before the digital age existed that never really...
It wasn't in their contract.
Exactly.
They didn't have a contract for residuals.
That specifically said that you're supposed to get this money.
Good.
And then it also makes it so that writers going forward get paid fairly for their
that's
for their music.
Definitely better for everybody because... I mean, I've seen some of these checks in, days past that have come from some of the streaming services like Spotify where, they're getting millions of listens and they're getting checks for like $82.
Right.
I mean, and that's just ridiculous, man.
Right.
The problem
There's
is
something
how
to that though. They don't go into the whole story. in that particular situation. They don't tell you that the reason why that this person isn't getting paid is because the deal that he negotiated was to not include any of this stuff.
Right.
So obviously he's not going to get paid on it if that wasn't in his deal.
Totally.
He's only getting 7% of this. The label is recouping. So
Right.
that's why he didn't get paid that money.
Sure.
If his deal was different, he would have. He'd like we're getting a measly amount of spins every month, but we get a $800 check every month for it. So
That's awesome.
So how do you get listeners to find 3 Years Hollow on Spotify?
Playlists.
Well, I mean, you
Sure.
make fans the
See, this is for the
normal way.
old people that
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
shit
No,
about
yeah.
Spotify.
This is funny because bands ask me this all the time. They're
Right.
like, "How do we get our Spotify listeners up?" And I want to say, play shows and meet people.
Yeah, it's no
I'm like,
different than
that's how you make
Okay.
fans.
how did you get your
Yeah.
downloads before? It's just now that's the outlet for it. And,
All we had back then was we got a CD, it's $10.
Right.
right.
We got a CD, it's $10.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's the
That's
same
it.
way.
T-shirt,
You're either
$10,
gonna
you know?
post about it, or you're gonna do a marketing
Right,
campaign, or you're
right.
gonna play shows, or
What discrepancies just is we just printed up a bunch of cards that had information on the band. Looks like business cards. Band on the front side, on the back side as a QR barcode that takes you to the band's Spotify
Directly
page.
to Spotify.
That's what they hand
Yep.
out at shows
Yep.
now.
That's cool.
if you're lucky enough to get on a Spotify playlist, that's
Yeah.
when your life can
'cause that's the other
definitely
thing.
change.
That's
Right.
the other
Yeah,
thing is
yeah.
that there are curators and basically like tastemakers that then will.
Is it like a radio station?
Yeah.
It is the
kind
new.
of.
It is the new radio.
It is.
It is almost.
Do they have hosts?
No.
So there's no talking. It's just music.
No, that's not true.
There's
there are podcasts,
channels
yeah.
where you
Okay.
can do like talk.
Questlove has and all that kind of stuff.
But I mean, it's music and
Okay.
creators and stuff like that. But
So as you log into Spotify on the left-hand side, there's typically playlists that are common for you. There's one called Discover Weekly. There's a few others on there that are common, and some of them are curated by Spotify employees, and those are the ones that are pumped out to everybody. Those are the ones that are coveted. That's
So
what you wanna
Spotify
get
can
on.
break bands.
Yes, most definitely.
sure.
So they're like
Spotify
they're
has
the new
now-
record label.
Yes.
they have changed things actually to where now they're trying to bypass all of that. They want you to upload your music directly to Spotify.
Yes. If you're going to have a premiere later, you can submit it to Spotify ahead of time and then submit it to their playlists for consideration. And that's almost like a radio promo type of a thing.
The number one song on terrestrial radio, on rock radio, gets heard by 6 million people a week. That's how many people hear the song. Some of these Spotify playlists have 6 million people that listen to them. So it's literally the equivalent of radio, only in the new digital.
and you know exactly how many times things got played, and if you have your deal set up,
Correct.
you will get paid some amount of money for each time that music is streamed.
This is what's crazy in my old age. I have kids now, and I went to the school the other day. We had teacher conferences. The teacher was telling us that the kids were doing good stuff, whatever. But outside of the class, they had all of the kids draw a picture of themselves and list things that they like and what they want to be when they grow up. And I counted out of the entire class, half of them kids, they're what I want to be when I grow up, a YouTuber.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
And I was like,
Yep.
times have changed, man,
Yeah.
because these kids actually, they see these shows
Yeah.
that are really well put together. I mean,
They
a lot
really
of them are put together really well, and they're going to get as many views as like
banking.
Sesame Street when we were kids. you
Oh,
know?
dude, yeah,
They are
bigger,
banking.
They're
bigger.
banking.
Yeah.
Every million is like $2,000 that they're pulling in.
My son's constantly watching
And they put these
Minecraft
shows out
YouTube
every
stuff
week,
Minecraft.
and
All
they
right.
have millions.
That's all they
of
do.
views
My daughter
on it.
went through a phase with that.
And
too.
it kills me because my kids are looking at me, they're watching YouTube and they're like, well, today we're going to fill a pool full of these little jelly balls and we're going to dive in there and fucking have so much fun today. And then we're going to go do this and we're going to do this. And my kids are looking at me like, you're fucking lame. Because I don't even go outside sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm like, nah, we're staying in.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
can we, you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
And I had to look at them and go, them aren't normal fucking
Exactly.
people.
This ain't dad tube, motherfucker.
Right.
We got
Yeah, they're getting paid
dad.
to play with their kids. You know what I mean? So until I'm making $2 million a year playing with my kids, I'm staying the fucking side. So, and I can't afford that. the kids are getting the wrong impression of what normal life is like.
Yeah.
They've been getting the wrong impression about what normal life is like since the fucking dawn of
since
media.
Disney fairy tales.
Yeah,
Actually.
right.
I mean,
Well,
that's
you know what I'm
that's
saying.
what they say anyway.
Well, I look at these people in their mansion, basically, and one the other day was like, today we're gonna we're gonna drive a Ferrari. And
but you know the thing about it is some of those shows though, I mean, they're doing their own editing.
my son's
Like
like,
they're doing their own show.
Some of them are really good too.
Oh yeah,
man.
they've got the Hollywood
genius.
effects where they can do like fireballs and they can do CGI stuff.
I
But
look
they
at
also
them
know
like-
like the pacing and the the more narrative structures of how to pace the edits and
Yep.
stuff like that.
They're
It's fucking great.
professionals.
They are.
This is their side gig. That's how they found out they configured their life for whatever they wanted to do. You know, so
fucking PewDiePie, dude.
Yeah.
like that guy is like
No, it's SCTV.
Yeah.
is what goes on over here. And I hear that intro, SCTV. And kids are like, "What the?"
Are you saying FGTV?
whatever the fuck it is?
SCTV was a Canadian
I don't
show from
fucking
the
know.
80s.
Brian, it's FGTV.
Okay,
Just,
well, whatever. My kids say it different ways, but all I know is I go over to the TV, I'll pop my head around there, and I'll be like, "What you watching there, son?" And he'll be like, "It's SCTV," and I'll be like, "Well, son of a bitch," and like exit out of that so I can see the count on that.
that shows
thing.
you how popular they are because my
And-
son watches the exact same channel. And
45 million views. I'm like, whoa,
shit.
All right then.
Yeah.
And then and I said, well, I asked my daughter, I was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she's like, well, I want to be a pop star or a superstar or a YouTuber, And I'm like, well, Dad's a YouTuber, and she goes, no, like a like a real YouTuber. I'm like, what do you mean a real one? She's like, well, you're not famous or anything. I'm like, oh, well.
You want to be a famous YouTuber. See, because that's the thing about YouTube. Anybody with a
say shit.
fucking camera.
Yeah, kids say shit that'll like just
Yeah.
crush you, but
Yeah.
you're like, you have to take it because they're right.
Yeah, they're right.
They're
Totally
unfiltered.
right. Yeah.
And I was on the, sometimes when I'm on 97X, I'm driving or something because I'm not actually at the studio when it's on, but, and I'm like, hey, that's Daddy on the radio. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, well, does it sound like me? Do you recognize that that's Daddy? And they're
Dude, they
like,
don't understand, man.
yeah, but and I said, you want to be on the radio someday, don't you? She goes, yeah, but I actually want to be like on the radio all the time.
Okay, we had
Not just like once a week.
DVR in my house, right? Like they don't understand, Brian.
They ain't buying my
They
shit
don't
no more.
understand.
My kids just look at me like there's something wrong with me. Like we were listening to the MDR podcast while driving home from Iowa City, and they hear my name, and I see them in the mirror, and they both look at me. They're like, "Are they really talking about you?"
You listen to the podcast with your kids?
Yeah, they were in the
There's-
backseat. I know. Trust me.
You're like, well,
I had my earbud in
okay.
listening to
Yeah,
the podcast, so they couldn't hear the
I was-
podcast, and I turned it. We stopped at gas, and then we got back in the car, and it started playing again over the radio, and that's when you guys were talking about recording at the studio. So
yeah.
But I think that's a product of what you grow up with in that mystical world, right? We grew up and radio was like that mystical thing that you could never achieve, and it was
Totally.
like the coolest thing ever. And
I
listening
still
to-
get excited about it.
Yeah,
if
for
I'm
sure.
out there listening to the radio and Dwyer Michaels mentioned Minor Disturbance Radio, my palms start to sweat.
Why-
I'm
I mean, why
that's
shouldn't
right,
we?
bitches, That's right.
Absolutely.
You know what I
That's
mean?
the
I
whole
get excited.
reason why we even started doing any of this in the first place.
Yeah,
So
was to try to access
yeah.
those media.
Yeah.
No, what I was going to say was that the example that I always remember is that we had DVRs in my house from the time my kids were really little. We had VCRs and then DVRs, right? And it took my kids the longest time to comprehend the concept of live television or live radio, that you couldn't just rewind or fast forward or skip or,
they
you
probably-
didn't have that
Right.
control.
Right.
They don't get it.
I got
You know
one.
what I mean? Yeah.
I got one because you and I lived through this. We talked about the rotary phone with the whatever, but let's show our age now. When you finally got the cable remote that could rewind
Oh, yeah.
and fast forward and shit,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I actually thought in my head, I was like, can I go in the future with this motherfucker?
Yeah.
Because it's like, so if I fast forward, I could watch tonight's news.
Dude, I'm gonna find out who won the fucking lottery and bet the numbers, man.
You know what I mean?
On demand. I was
Yeah.
like
like that movie
shit earlier.
Click.
Yeah.
And
with
then
Adam
what
Sandler.
did you get? You get the bong, bong,
Oh, yeah.
bong. It's like, son of a bitch, I can't go in the future with this thing.
Damn it, it's bullshit, man.
November 5th, 1955.
Yeah. Oh, the worst thing, and I love watching football games. I love the game of football. But I found out I cannot watch it live. I can't watch it live. So
I can't watch it not live.
Yeah.
It has to be live.
No. Let me tell you why.
All right,
Let me tell you why. And I'm not talking about like the next day. I'm not talking about the next day, but like a good like 15-minute buffer.
You need it.
Okay.
You need the
Just put up
buffer.
with the fucking
Here's why.
commercials.
Because, and I told all my friends, don't be texting me about the Redskins getting their ass kicked because
Right.
I don't want to know. I'm probably behind.
Yeah, I'm 15 minutes.
I'm
in the
going to
back.
let it go at least 20 minutes. I'll go out and do something else, come back to it. And the reason why is because they do 2 plays and then somebody's laying on the field and they're like, we'll be right back. And then it's like 4 Silverado commercials and I can't sit through that shit
I gotcha.
all the time.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, and you kind of lose the vibe and the flow of the game.
Yep.
And then I got to fast forward. Commercials suck ass. I
Yeah.
hate them.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not going to fucking ever be able to afford a Silverado. So shut the fuck up.
They're basically
You know what I mean?
just teasing you.
Right. It's like, and this Christmas they show a fucking Mercedes with a
Yeah.
bow on it.
Yeah.
And they're like, like you can afford to just buy your wife a fucking car, asshole?
Yeah.
Yeah. Make the commercials make me feel like I'm a loser. You know what I'm saying?
The roof goes in the trunk. That's magic. That's magic.
Come in now and get $5,000 off of our $70,000 truck.
Hey, that's only $65,000, honey. Let me hit
Football
the
games
ATM.
are usually just like on one of the other screens while we're working on something else. So whenever it's a commercial, our brains just go back to the other screen temporarily.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I
the
usually-
weird thing. It's like as soon as commercials come on, my technique is to get on my phone and start doing some other shit. And then as soon as that shit's okay, all right, put the
Back-
phone
yeah.
down
See,
and
and
I'm
I
back.
think that's the problem for our concentration
Yeah.
is so chopped
Terrible.
up now.
Yeah.
Let's see. I know that everybody sitting at this table is absolutely hopelessly addicted to their fucking phone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you're not, you're one of the 1%.
Gosh,
you're an
I mean,
outsider.
I'm on my phone all day long now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I have kids now, and my son is constantly like, "Can I have your phone? Can I have your phone?" Well, he says phone now, but and I'm like, "No, I want it." And he's like, "Well, you're not using it." I'm like, "I might."
I just need it there. I needed to have it be
And
there.
then I finally caved in. I was like, "Here you go," and he'd go on YouTube and watch that FGTV and give them another view.
What the hell is that? What the hell is FGTV? What is it?
It's some kid. It's a dad that sits down with his 2 kids and they play video games together.
Oh,
it's
okay,
the family gaming. It's
Gotcha.
family gaming
Gaming television,
TV.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and it's actually I've been stuck like staring at it before. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's because the dude's good. The dude's good at what he does.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
great editor, and they
But-
play games, and the kids love it.
so I give I give my son the phone and he takes off with it and he does that thing and I go outside to have a cigarette or something and I'm out in the garage and I'm literally not knowing what to fucking do with myself. I'm like staring at the walls and stuff. I'm like, so this is nature.
Yeah, you need
it's
a
like
burner.
what? So it's fun to enjoy nature sometimes. I'm like, fuck, I gotta go get my phone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Dude,
here's what it
need a
is.
burner.
Here's what it is for me, and I'm sure it's like this for
Yeah.
you too. It might not be for Travis. Travis is a rare bird.
Yeah, I'm a weirdo.
He might not care about like attention, because I'll be checking something. I'll be watching some video on the Facebook. Somebody put up some old concert of something. I'm like, oh wow, I'm getting into this old thing that somebody put up, and then you'll see that red dot at the top of the fucking app, right? That notification that says that somebody just said something. And I'm like, do I keep watching this or do I find out what that is? And there's that battle.
Yeah,
and don't
right.
tell me you ain't fucking guilty of it
yeah,
too. Because I'm like,
absolutely.
yeah, that's really nice, Ingve Malmsteen, but somebody added to their fucking
Yeah.
story. Fuck you. Get back to
Yeah.
the Ingve thing.
social media is weird for me, man. Like
It's a trap.
It's become so much of more. I think of it more as businessy.
Yeah.
Because like I got 20 something pages like that I manage, so it's all just the back end of Facebook instead of the,
I have no idea
know.
how you managed bands before Facebook. I mean,
Yeah, for real.
It's such a huge tool for that. It's incredible.
We used to actually have to take these things that were made of paper. They're called posters. I don't know if you know this. Like sometimes you can print things out on an actual poster,
right,
and you'd
right.
we take it to the venue a week in advance.
Really?
Man,
Did
Stick 'em
anybody
up
pay any
there.
attention to them, or they take pictures of them with their phone and post them?
They
or
ended up
something?
in the urinal, but
Yeah. What's the Hedberg joke? Here, you throw this away.
yeah. Or you'd have to go to co-op and ask them if you
Yeah.
could put it on their window.
I did
Yeah.
all of that
Yeah.
starting out with them. Yeah, did it all.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
And to think now that you could just put out a post to whoever is all linked up to your thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so much easier now.
Well, now I mean,
or
if
harder.
you're-
It could be even harder.
If you're smart about it, now what
the
you do
wash.
is you do ads targeted to the cities that you're playing. So
Right.
you make sure that 3,000 people in the city of Moline know that this show is coming, so that 150 of them show up. you know.
Right.
And you just do that to every city that you're going to
and
play.
then you can link your concerts in Spotify, so the people listening to you on Spotify get a notification
know when you're coming.
that the concert's coming to town. And
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, you need somebody dedicated full time to running all of those digital platforms for the
Currently,
bands.
that's true. Although, I mean, it's really only a matter of time before automation
It's all
begins to
AI.
speed all that
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
up. Yeah.
I want to talk to you about one more thing, and then I'm going to talk to Tom a little bit because I'm interested. I know there's some people that are interested in what your end of things are and what you do, but I want to talk to you real quickly about the band Doppelganger. Okay. They sent me that playthrough, and they've sent me their music, and I played it for you at 97X. We listened to it, and we immediately agreed between the two of us that this is something we can't play on 97X.
Right.
And I hate that we have to feel that way about it. But it's a longer song, and it's all
There's
progressive
no
metal.
vocals and
Yeah. It's all proggy.
And I was like, fuck that. I'm going to have them on the podcast then because these guys are like our local Dream Theater.
They're talented.
Yeah.
Man.
They're fucking amazing.
Yeah, these songwriters are
So
amazing.
2 weeks from today, we're having Doppelganger.
All right.
Put it on your calendar.
All right.
And I can't wait to talk to these kids because
Composers, man.
They are.
they kill.
Composers.
They are.
They kill.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the guys like Alex. This dude is like a prodigy. I mean, the way that he comes up with these riffs and everything. I guess he's the primary writer. But even Chris, obviously, you can tell what
That
he does with
drummer.
the drums. Like, holy crap!
You know, I said it. This new breed of drummer scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, dude.
It really does.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be in my era just to kick double bass with a constant like digga 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 digga.
Yeah,
you were
you
the
were
king,
good.
man.
Yeah.
You were the fucking king. You know what I'm saying, Travis?
Yeah,
It's like,
absolutely,
dude,
yeah.
you can kick double bass. You know,
Yeah.
so digga 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 digga.
Yeah, you'd be like,
You're
oh my
fuck,
God.
that's a bad motherfucker
Yeah,
right
it is
there.
bad motherfucker. And maybe something because I've tried to root it out of myself after being such a guitar nerd for so long, you know, is that I always have the deep suspicion that anybody who's too good at playing an instrument isn't very good at fucking. And I refuse to not be good at fucking.
No, I can tell you firsthand that's not true because I fuck like a beast.
But you're not that good.
Hey, shut the fuck up.
Oh, sorry.
You shut the fuck up.
Sorry.
Oh man, I did not know it was going there. That's good. That's really good.
I feel that though, and I say it because it's fucking. I think it is funny, but at the same time, I think it's kind of true though. I mean, I think it's kind of true because.
Well, which one are you, Travis? Are you good at playing guitar or fucking?
I think I'm good at fucking.
You really do.
Yeah, I do.
I can't. Can you? Okay. I
think I'm good at fucking.
We're gonna reveal something right now.
Yeah.
What face do you make when you're fucking?
I can't make my.
Is it
fuck
the same
face,
as
just
when you're playing guitar?
Same. Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Yeah. If I really, I would say it's the same, and that's part of the reason why I don't try to nail down every single nuance on my guitar playing anymore, because what I'm really trying to do is operate my guitar the same way I would operate my voice, but really it's more of a tactile thing. So I think that it's more related to how people touch each other. So that's really what it's like. It's
Very
like
interesting.
you try to disengage your optical centers and re-engage your tactile sense of things and have that be the way your emotions flow outward. That's the way that I try to operate my instrument. I'm not always that great at it because
Fucking hippie.
the visual cortex always
that
wants
some
to
hippie
kick
shit?
back in and look at your fucking hands.
Did you just say cortex and like all kinds of other shit?
Yeah. That part of your brain takes over. It's an extremely powerful part of your
Music
brain.
or fucking?
No, the optical cortex, the visual cortex. It's extremely powerful.
Well,
I had no idea this was
It destroys.
I have-
It destroys your ability to fuck properly, man.
I would get to
It's fake titties.
the actual interesting part of this podcast.
We'll see. We'll
first-
see who
but
thought that
first-
shit was interesting.
But first, I have a sickness, man, because when I watch guitar players now, I thought, man, people are so good at CGI, right?
Yeah.
And I was watching some guy just lean back, fucking mouth wide open, speed picking, and you know where you wear your guitar,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, why hasn't any motherfucker CGI or taken the guitar out and just put a big dick right there?
Oh, we've seen some of that, I think.
I haven't seen it yet because that's what it looks. If you
It is,
take
yeah.
the guitar out of the picture,
Yeah.
what does it look like?
Yeah.
I've never thought about this once, Brian.
You
Okay.
will.
No.
You- every time now. Every time you see a guitar player just leaning
Because
back.
if there's this kind of
Yep.
shit going on, right?
That's
There's
gonna
that.
make the next
Yeah.
tour
But then when it's
poster
all
really interesting, though.
when it's all like they got that fart face, like they farted,
Yeah.
then it's like they're holding something gross, like a giant slug,
Or she's on her period.
giant fish.
He just don't want to look
yeah.
at it.
Yeah, she's in the red zone.
Oh yeah, they put the fish in the hand.
Yeah,
See, I was
exactly.
like, if you could put a
Yeah.
fish there,
But that's related to the disgust face.
but
where
the
you just
whole
grossed
hand
out.
movement and everything. Just see, I'm embarrassed even doing it. But like the whole picking, dudes are like, you got to like do it like this. You got to get the hand, and you're like, fuck, man, I never realized I looked like that. you
Here,
know?
get a sperm sample from this gerbil.
When you look at a lead guitar player doing a solo, it looks like they're jacking off
It does.
because they step up right to the front, spread their legs, kind of lean back a little bit, and start.
It must be a different school because I've never thought that when I watched guitar
I think they
players.
look like they're actually. I
You
think,
will now.
I think they're jerking off, but they're not jerking themselves off. They're jerking off a small mammal.
Or they're flicking somebody's bean, maybe.
Yeah,
Like
that's- yeah,
maybe
right,
like they
yeah.
got a clip.
Yeah, I just always thought they were playing guitar.
Just
Yeah.
imagine what they're thinking when
Yeah.
they're looking at a
Well,
vocalist
yeah.
with
I know.
The truth is,
wireless mic.
Jose, they're not.
They're not.
Okay? There's just a big piece of wood between them and what they really want to do.
Well, because Sigmund Freud was so obsessed in all of his writings with the phallus as being the primary, attractor for everyone, that he was obsessed with dicks. He was always smoking a cigar. So then somebody said in an interview, they were like, "Hey,
I thought about bringing some cigars.
yeah,
once.
have you maybe noticed that you've got this giant brown dick in your mouth?" And this is what Freud said. He said, "Hey, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar." That's fucking Brian. Sometimes a guitar is just a guitar, Brian.
No, it's a huge penis.
Yeah.
So, Tom.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so you're the manager, or you and Jose run 3 Years Inc.
Yes.
And you're managing, how many bands do you have under your...
And at the company level, because he keeps adding more by the day, it seems like. But what are we up to? 5 now, officially?
What five bands are them?
5, and he also manages the Attic studio, and the Attic is also a production team. So
Part of that umbrella, I guess. So we got 3 Years Hollow, obviously. Discrepancies. My band out of St. Louis. Alborn. Beneath Manhattan, which is Jose's acoustic project.
With Alex.
Yep.
Yes, with Alex. And then just recently added, is this public information?
Yeah.
Okay. Elysium, who is East Coast band.
yeah, they're from Virginia, and they're basically out touring constantly.
Constantly.
And
Always on the road.
What kind of music?
it's rock, hard rock. Yeah, it would fit well with what we're doing here. Yeah.
Kind of an alt flair to it, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you handpick the bands, or do they come to you and just whoever wants to be under your wing, you'll take them? Or is it
No.
kind of like a vetting system?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of, I definitely have to see a long-term reason to invest the very little time I have into them. And I mean, honestly, it's not, none of it's for free. I mean, these bands have to have budgets, and we don't invest our time into them for free. It's just...
Okay, well, what do they get for their fee? What does a manager do? Because I know back in my day, they brought you beer.
He can say some
one of the
things, and then
jobs.
if there's anything that I can add in, I'll add it
So
in.
it's primarily a consultant role, help them plan kind of where they want to go and how to get there. That is the way I see it. So, if there's a song, new music, new video release, whatever that might be. Okay, let's slow down a little bit. Let's figure out how we want to work this. What's the timing of this? What are all the pieces that are in play? So you've got press that's going to go out, a press release. Are you going to do a premiere for the video? Are you going to, where is that premiere going to be? we have to make sure that the distribution is done and out to the proper outlets. So a lot of that planning, so to speak, and ideally you want to plan all of that with a tour. So okay, let's get with a booking agent. Let's get somebody that'll take you on. Let's talk about touring options. So the timing of everything is just critical and crucial. And
I'm sorry, Tom. I know you just finally got to talk a little bit, but can you do one thing for me? You have such a nice, deep, booming voice.
Uh-oh.
Can you give me like meat? It's what's for dinner. Just one time. Just
meat is what's for dinner.
No, deeper. Deeper. I know you can go there.
Tell them.
Or the new
this way too much.
The new Silverado F-150.
The new Silverado.
Yes.
Yeah,
See,
good, yeah.
That's what I have to sit through for fucking 20 minutes in a football game right there.
What Brian can't afford.
Yeah, what Brian and don't think for a second I don't sit on the couch and go F-150. I'm like, fuck, I can't do that shit. Yeah. It's like I want to have a big booming voice like that. Like way deep down.
I've heard that before,
and I do that in front of my wife, and she goes, "Quit doing that. You don't sound natural." I'm like. And I think I'm awesome at it, and then she's like, "No, you're not really that good. But as soon as you start talking, the boomingness of your voice, I'm like, nah, I wish I had that."
I've heard that before. It's kind of weird, but okay.
Well, like on 97X, there's the Uncle Joe Benson, hang with me.
Yeah,
and then I come on like, "What's up, rockers, man? We're gonna fucking party Saturday, man."
I'm all like, yeah. It sucks. Somebody said about me, they said, if he blew his nose, they'd fire him. And I was like, that's fucking hilarious. I'm really mad about that it's true.
I don't understand what that means.
Because I sound like I've just got like a sinus full, like I've got a fucking
distinction in
glottal.
your voice.
Then his voice wouldn't be his voice anymore.
Exactly.
Right.
I think that's why people think I have a radio voice, is because it's
by contrast.
You talk
exactly,
and then I come in, rah, and I just totally crack.
This guy's a fucking supermodel.
It is the best partnership. I do have to say though, it works so well.
It works very well.
I can't stand him. No,
exactly.
He's the one that wanted to be a part of this, and he's signed onto it, and he's agreed to do it, and he enjoys doing it as much as I do.
Yeah.
It's hard to find, somebody that's willing to be part of it all the time.
And has the knowledge to do so.
Yeah, and is willing to have everybody laugh at him like they do me, or whatever they want to do, or critique, or make fun of us, or like, oh, MDR, okay.
There definitely have been some naysayers along the way that were just like, he is so fucking annoying. Get rid of him.
Really?
Get rid of him.
When Travis came on, and I made, he started doing show after show. There were a few people that were like, "Oh, Travis."
I always told you, I'm like, when you start talking, I'm like, that's what I tune in to listen. And then Brian changes the subject 10 seconds later. And
so I'm annoying. So I'm the annoying one. And see how the shit turns? See how the shit turns, Travis?
Man.
It's Travis Disturbance Radio.
See,
and that's fine.
Well, I see my email address for a lot of years was annoyance.
Fuck you.
Yeah, I know it.
Travis Disturbance Radio.
No.
We're gonna have to rename this.
It's Minor Annoyance Radio.
oh man,
Annoyance.
I had to.
I
agree.
Funny,
I agree with you, because I have the problem of I don't really realize what the fuck he's talking about until I'm editing, and like
he'll be mad at me in the moment, and then later he'll be like, "What the fuck?" And then later on he'll call me up and be like, "Hey man, I was kind of pissed when you said this shit, but I could totally see what you're going for now."
Yeah.
That was good. That was.
He'll start saying something, and I'll be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then
I just think he's always got a really awesome, sometimes contrasting view to the things that you're saying.
I get it,
and
man.
that's an
I get it.
awesome.
We want the same things, though. I think that's the thing that's kind of interesting. We want the same things. We have kind of the same goals in general. We just have very different ideas about how to get there, and I think that's kind of what makes a good conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Anyway, what were you saying, Tom?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember.
I was saying beef. It's what's for dinner.
That's right. That's right. Silverado.
So what I'm getting is that, I mean, and I suppose it would follow that's literally what a manager does, is you guys are sort of handling the stuff that people that are involved in just trying to make and play music maybe don't understand or don't know or can't really handle or devote their attention to and still be able to do.
And setting up the business side of things, trying to structure the money, so to speak, though I don't like handling the money. So I have the band handle the money.
Yeah.
But I will work the deals, I'll work the contracts. I don't want to handle money. I try to stay away from that. I might help them track it.
Sure.
Do you have like a background in management, like business management?
I do. I'm an IT manager for my day job. But
okay.
Yeah. So
is this something that you just one day you're like, you know what, I'm going to go manage some bands?
That's a great story, I think, honestly, in terms of how I got started in this.
Because none of them fucking posters at the school that I was talking about said band manager.
Yeah, I bet they didn't, because it doesn't pay shit.
No.
But
very stressful.
Yeah. But no. It's how I got started in that.
One of them said hooker though. I'm just kidding. It didn't.
That's kind of an interesting story to me. It may not be in anybody else, but no. I grew up with loving music. Had brothers that constantly listened to music. Music was constantly playing in my house. Loved it. Always they were going to concerts. I got to an age where I could go to concerts. I was hitting 20, 30 shows a year. Touring around. Favorite band in the world to me is Chevelle. And was it 2010, I think, heard that Chevelle was playing Rock the District. Went to that show, did a little research at the opening bands. There was this band called 3 Years Hollow that was opening for Chevelle and Rock the District, and checked them out online. And I tell Jose this. I looked at their first promo picture that they had out online, and they look like a Mexican street gang.
I thought the same thing.
It was an awkward phase.
It
really was.
Yeah, you know what? I liked 3 Years Hollow because of Tony.
Yeah.
Not really Jose.
Right.
It was like
Here it comes.
It was like I'll be listening to the intro riff, and then Jose will come in singing, and I'm like, shit, I was liking this riff.
He just screwed it all up.
Jesus Christ. If you want your voice to sound good, you should probably unbutton that top button.
In your face, Jose.
I deserve it.
I'm joking.
So I'm at Rock the District waiting to see Chevelle, and 3 Years Hollow comes out, and I'm watching them play, and I was always as interested in the logistics of the shows that I went to as the show itself. So like watching the back line, what's the set list like, how long are the sets, that type of thing fascinates me as much as the show itself. So
Cool.
I'm watching 3 Years Hollow up on stage. I'm like, these guys are freaking talented, but they have no idea what they're doing. And that was my initial impression is that, looking at Kush playing drums, I'm like, oh my God, this guy is freaking good. So it really kind of blew me away. But, I remember distinctly Jose asking on stage back to the soundboard to say, do we have time for another song in the middle of it? And I'm like, oh my God, how do they not know how long their set list is? Things like that.
Yeah.
And they were very young and very inexperienced and just at the time, but super talented. Well, lo and behold, I think 4 months later, we found ourselves at a mutual friend's Halloween party. I was dressed as Rob Zombie, but in any case, had a little bit of liquid courage in me and got introduced to Jose at the party. And to which, Jose says, we talked about me seeing them. He's like, what'd you think? Well, I made the mistake of sharing my honest opinion. And the next thing you knew, we were chatting online on Facebook a couple weeks later, and he's like, you ever thought about managing a band? And I'm like, no, and he's like, I really want you to consider it. And, okay. So grabbed the laptop, went to Google, and just started searching like crazy, and that's how it got started. So
And you were searching for information about how to manage a
how
band?
to manage a band,
Okay.
yeah, for real.
Okay.
Just because the logistics already fascinated me. I was interested in it.
Right.
There were certain things that I knew just from going to shows, but as far as managing a band and actively trying to break a band,
Right.
It was 3 years from that point to where he asked me the question, do they were signing their record deal, and it was a lot of trial and error along the way.
Cool.
But yeah, it was interesting, and I have to say that one of the things that made it infinitely easier learning from scratch was having a product that was that freaking good.
Yeah. Well, sure.
Yeah, I mean that opened a lot of doors. That made it a lot easier.
I think the whole reason that 3 Years Hollow was as successful as they were or are is because of Jose's voice.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you could hear the toughest riffs in the world, and we're all waiting to hear what the fucking band sounds like and what the singer sounds like.
Yeah,
I don't care.
too.
You could be kicking, drum beats and whatever you're gonna do.
That's what.
As soon as that singer comes in, I make my decision of if I'm gonna dig this band or not. And when I heard Jose's voice, I was like, well, shit. There's no. It's not how I sing, but I could definitely tell that it's one of them voices that sits in a mix really well. It's got the nice grit and the nice break in it, and it's just really, it's a good rock voice. So I was like, well, that's the fucking missing link for most bands. Doesn't it seem that way?
Yeah, to me, I mean,
most local bands, they come out and they can write songs maybe and they can play well, but the singer just can't quite.
That is usually the deal breaker.
Me too.
Yeah,
I feel the same way. I feel that way about my own band. I mean, that's
Have you had any other bands like want to steal you? Whoa, that sucked. What was that? Were you trying to sing Steelheart right there?
No. No. I've, not steal. I've just had a lot of great opportunities to co-write and jam with some of my favorite musicians. And
do you do any backups on the Albarn stuff?
Nope.
No?
Those guys handled it all.
Well, that's cool because you're not pushing your way into everything. Like every band that comes here, I got to sing a line just in case.
Right.
No, it's usually the other way around, and I'm hesitant to do it because I'm like, do I really need to be on all of these things? I know the band really wants me to, but I don't want to take away from anything that they're doing. So,
did you ever record at Bill Pfeiffer's studio? You did.
You did first record.
That was your okay.
Yeah, we were still Hollow at the time in 2004.
River City Sound across from the Call Ballroom in Davenport.
That's right. Yep. I was 20 years old when I recorded with Bill Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
Could not even drink legally.
No, I don't know what the band was. There was some band that was.
I didn't drink until I was 21. It's kind of strange.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't really.
Really?
Either.
Wow.
Tony handed me one
of
my first beers shortly after I turned 21 at a rehearsal.
Yeah. The first time I saw you guys live was in Geneseo, I think, in some back room with ceiling tiles, white lights like this. You know what I mean?
Remember.
It was weird.
Like the Moose or something.
Yeah.
Was it?
No, it was. It used to be called. It was some banquet hall or something for I feel like Echo Drive played there as well. Cody Ristall's band.
Yeah.
Well, there was some band that was recording at River City Sound with Bill, and it wasn't you guys, but some other band around that time. And Bill calls me up and he goes, "Hey, Brian, you want to come down here and sing some vocals? These guys are trying to do harmonies, and they're not quite getting there. Can you come down and cut these third intervals or whatever they need?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I could, sure, man. I get this all the time. If these poor kids need help, I'll be down there.
Kids.
Because I'm a well-known backup singer, I guess. Anyway, so then he's like, "Well, hold on a second." And in the background, I heard something. Hey, who are you talking to? Brian Miner. I want to have him come down. We don't want to sound like fucking Boston. I was like, he's like, never mind. Boston. I was like, what the fuck, motherfucker? We're going to sound like Boston.
More than a feeling.
Well, we ain't trying to sound like Boston. I'm like, look, I'm on the fucking phone, asshole. So I know
I'm
who they were.
Here.
Yeah, I'm
man.
right here.
I can hear you. Man.
That was an awesome time.
Yeah. Well, I was just
really
like,
cool.
Boston. Everybody thinks that when I open my mouth, it's going to be just some wailing high note or something.
Right, yeah.
No, I can't.
I mean, you are really good at that, though, Brian.
I don't know. I'm capable of doing it. So in doing that, people think, oh, he can hit high notes. It's just like the average guitar listener. You do a dive bomb, they're like, what?
Yeah, right.
It's like they think that's awesome.
You're doing something crazy cool, and they're like, whatever. And then you go, diddle-diddle-diddle-diddle,
but there are, you could just run,
exactly
64th notes like,
yeah,
like, yeah. I like that thing where you're like, pow. Anyway, there are times though when I'm listening to you sing or these, Albarn and these newer breed bands, where there's times where it's building, and I want that note to be a fifth higher than the note that they're doing, just for my own satisfaction. Not that I'm not up there, but just to where your voice can't barely even get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know who Miles Kennedy is?
Yes, I do.
Are you a fan of his voice?
Honestly, I'm not. It's almost too pure.
I'm interested. That's interesting because of what you were just saying.
His vibrato is really fast.
That dude is like a machine, his voice is incredible. So.
Not to say that he can't sing. He's got a great voice. It's almost too fucking perfect though.
Got it.
And there's not. It's too almost like it's fixed and perfect.
Who's the dude from Strappy Young Lad? He used to be in Steve Vai's band. I forget the dude's name, but he's another guy like that. Perfect pitch and can.
What
just
was the
do,
band
like,
that did "Sex
80
Is on Fire"?
Kings of Leon.
Kings of Leon.
That dude has a voice.
Yeah.
That sounds like it's not gonna make it.
Right.
That's some
You
real
know,
shit.
and that's what I like about it. I can't.
Raspiness.
I can never get that way because
that break.
yeah. When mine breaks, it sounds like, oh, he fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, when theirs breaks, it sounds cool. You know?
It's the break for me only comes when I'm singing every day. Then it can be distorted, and I can do it every day, and it won't hurt, and I won't lose my voice. But after not singing every day, it's as clean as can be. And if I do try to rasp it up, it's pretty much gone the next day. So it is definitely like a conditioning thing for me to get it. I force myself to be raspy. It's not natural.
Right.
Otherwise, I got a pretty clean voice.
Yeah.
Depends on how much you've been smoking lately.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been smoking a lot less cigarettes.
Where were you?
Your voice sounds better.
I was down further than before. I see it. That hurts my throat to do that shit.
I've actually co-written this.
I wasn't making fun of you, by the way.
No, it's okay. It made me
I was
think
trying to see if I could do it. I can't get the thing in there.
It made me think of all this new 3 Years Hollow music. I've co-written with more people for this next record, you know, than anything else before. Just because I'm like, everybody come in. Let's write a song. Let's see what happens. So interested.
I'd have been more in the where were you? You know, I'd have been up there, and then people would be like, gay, you know. But that's just, you know, that's where I'm at. Like when I start to write a lyric for a song, it usually starts out in this register somewhere. You know what I mean? Something that's like
Michael Sweet,
something
type of-
yelling. Shut up with the Michael Sweet. He's fucking Striper, man. See,
You guys
buttholes
keep
like
on
this.
saying these names, and I have no idea who they are. So
there was a band called Striper that wore nothing but like bumblebee colored outfits,
and
and they were
apparently-
a Christian band.
And apparently Ted Cruz was the lead singer. If you've ever
I
seen
saw that meme. Yeah,
That's so fucking weird.
but Oz Fox was a great guitar player, but that dude has the cleanest voice.
Well, didn't he sing for Boston?
I don't know.
He did. He filled in. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm gonna re-edit that, and you're gonna say Sebastian Bach.
Oh, okay.
Sebastian Bach.
So that I can get into some of that.
Yeah.
Even Axl Rose, that dude's. I'm sorry, you guys can hate Guns N' Roses all you want, but when he did the AC/DC thing, he can do it, man.
He did it.
I was like, no
He can
fucking
do
way.
it.
And then I heard it, and I was like, yeah, it kind of works. That's weird. I did not expect it.
What's your take on Avenged Sevenfold? You familiar with them?
I love that band. And anybody that thinks that I shouldn't can suck my ass. Here's why. Not only was I a fan of Avenged Sevenfold, and the reason why I'm a fan of Avenged Sevenfold is because when they put out City of Evil, and because I wasn't really aware of that first one with the other stuff where he was screaming more. But when that one came out, I was a big fan of a band called Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
From the 80s and
Keeper of the Seven
Keys, and I loved that progressive sounding metal with that operatic Maiden type vocal.
Yeah.
And we were going through a huge transition at the time as far as music was changing, and my brand of singing was obsolete, and it was, you know, everybody was kind of scrambling to find what the new sound is, and it wasn't Maiden vocal, it wasn't all that stuff. Anyway, my girlfriend at the time, who was a super cunt, fucking asshole, right? I heard Avenged Sevenfold, and I heard the guitar playing and the drumming and all that, and I was like, I'm never gonna like this band because they don't sing Maiden vocals over that. You know, it's so reminiscent of the '80s metal,
Right.
But I was like, I don't like them. And then she came home one day, she's like, look what I bought, asshole. And it's my new favorite band now. And I was like, so the only way to like stomp her into the ground was become a bigger fucking fan of Avenged Sevenfold. so you know, and I started loving it, and I was like, hell yeah, this is awesome. And then she was like, then she backed off, you know. But she was rubbing it in my face that was the drop hammer that was the band that I actually wanted to be in.
Right.
Right? I wanted to be progressive like that and have arpeggiated solos, but we needed a voice like that.
Right.
And that dude made me so mad and jealous that he could sing like that. And it was in between melodic and broken.
Yeah.
And it had all the components of, it had a little bit of Pantera,
Yep.
as well as Maiden,
Yep.
as well as Guns N' Roses, and the whole Halloween thing. So it was like the band that I wished I was in, right? And plus they all wore eyeliner and leather pants. I mean, come on.
They're huge.
It's a show.
They're a massive band.
And then I remember seeing their videos
world.
coming up on Facebook and stuff, and people are like, "Oh, I hate this band. They're totally posers. These guys suck. I don't know why anybody would like these guys." And I'm thinking, why? What do people hate about this so bad? Because they do it live. I can guarantee you that they do it live. I saw them live. They did it better than the record.
Yeah, I mean,
like, why do people hate on them so much?
Anytime anything gets that successful, there will be people that hate them.
It might just be preference. I'm of the school. I actually don't care for M Shadow's voice, but I'm not a big fan of Axl Rose either. But I think it's just that tone of voice that I just don't care for. I respect it. It's just not my thing.
And I hate to bring up like one of their biggest
They do.
They really do.
They're super talented. I've actually seen them live probably 3, 4, 5 times.
Yeah, and to think that them two guitar players are doing what they're doing in harmony, and they're shredders. I mean, you got to understand, Jose, before Avenged Sevenfold hit, there was this dry spell of no guitar talent.
Right.
You know, and if there was, you had to seek it out. You had to go find it, and it wasn't going to be in the forefront of culture.
Well, that's that first when Avenged Sevenfold came out. That's why I didn't really gravitate towards them, because of how much 80s influence was in there.
Yeah.
They kind of were just not anywhere on my radar until they got a little out of that. I think Backcountry was what I heard them for the first time, and there was a lot of 80s in that. And then as they got heavier and more into
Nightmare.
That's when I started paying a little more attention to them. But
yeah. I mean, people were making them out to be like some fluff band.
I mean, they got to a point where their songs sounded exactly like Metallica.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
like,
there
there's
the same song.
It's Metallica.
It was the Black album.
Correct.
Yep. And I agree with you on that. See, I was City of Evil, even the white, whatever Avenged Sevenfold white record that they did with.
He started doing the Hetfield vocal inflections, but before that,
even the riffs, the
structure of the songs,
it was so similar.
It sounded like Enter Sandman.
That I got mad. I know, but I saw that and I was like, "Oh, son of a bitch!"
But
I mean, you can't get that close to it, you know.
But before that, I thought his voice sounded like kind of like John Bush from Armored Saint. He's a dude that did a couple 3 albums with Anthrax. But it's that same kind of sound, you know. There's an airy kind of quality to it, you know.
Justin from Alborn sometimes has a little bit of an M Shadows tone to his voice in some of these songs. I forget that you guys have only heard one. We've done 10, so there's a lot of different style on there.
Yeah, like I said, I can't wait to hear more of that stuff from them guys. And I'm a big Hook guy, Jose.
Yeah.
And that's why I like 3 Years Hollow. That's why I liked 1152. And a lot of people will have, contention with that. 1152 never wrote hooks. Well, yes, they did.
Yeah,
they wrote really strong hooks.
That's why so many people liked them.
Yeah.
They were hooky. Yeah.
I really enjoy Alborn for the fact that they're writing hooks in their songs. And to me, going out there and seeing who's got the toughest voice, and to each their own. There's genres of music for everybody, and I think that some of the hardcore community, doesn't really relate to me because they know I'm not going to play their stuff. There's no hook in it, and that's cool that you can go out there and scream and be angry and play fast and all that stuff. But good for you. Go play your shows and do your thing. But that's not music to me. It's not. It's music, but it's not rock music.
Well, that's the thing, though. They would probably disagree with you because
of course they would.
They're going to say, "Well, I mean, actually, what you're talking about is pop music."
Mm-hmm.
That's
and I agree with them. I am,
and that's why they won't. They're happy with what they got. They don't want to be part of the pop hooky music world.
Right. But even Pantera wrote a hook.
Well, right.
Especially Pantera wrote hooks, dude.
Yeah, but I don't think that they were going around saying fuck hooks and songs.
No,
they embraced it. You have to be, embrace
so hook is
that
candy,
part.
and there are some bands out there like we don't have any sweet shit.
Like, fuck that.
It's all just brutal. Right. So I'm not.
Well, they're not thinking about it like that. They're just writing whatever they like, and the music that they grew up on wasn't hooky pop or rock music.
They're more like a tool in terms of structure, I think.
I write a lot of hooks in music because I grew up on top 40 music. I mean, that's all that was playing around the house constantly. It was all top 40 music. If it was Meatloaf or Guns N' Roses or Foreigner or Journey.
Why did you look at me and say Meatloaf?
Well, because I'm talking to you.
Okay.
I don't resemble Meatloaf, do I?
I'm impressed he pulled those bands' names.
No, I was going to say that, I had a friend that he had, every album that Slayer ever made. And, he had them on cassette tape. And he had, a dual well cassette deck.
Oh, yeah.
And he sat there and he edited out every single guitar solo because he hated the sound of the guitar solos so much on those tapes. But this is what was amazing is once you got rid of the guitar solos, they were the most hooky shit ever, dude.
Eyes look deep in your minds.
It was the most hooky shit ever, dude. I swear to God.
Go.
Yeah.
That fucking song kills.
The way the changes work and the way that the songs progress from beginning to end, they're compact. They make sense.
I think
they
the
take you
argument is that any of the most popular music that exists,
Thank you.
is hooky.
That
even
is
if
what I
they're
have to
metal
say
bands,
about it. Even if they don't know it.
Exactly.
You don't have to be aware of something in order.
You know
for
how
it
many
to be
Guar
true.
fans there are?
Some
Right.
of Guar's shit's amazing.
I know
dude.
it's crazy, dude. That's the craziest show I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Yeah, that is fucking.
If you ever get a
shit,
chance to go see, well, it's too bad that Odorous Orungus is now passed away, but son of a bitch, that heroin sucks, don't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
that's,
too
but yeah, I saw that band at QC Live here in Davenport, and they had the walls lined with plastic. When you walked in there, and you're like, what in the?
Okay, why
I've
is it-
heard about this shit, and my friend's like, dude, don't wear anything that you don't want ruined.
Yeah.
As a
I
matter
don't
of
know
fact,
anything about what you're talking
we're
about.
gonna put on.
Oh,
I'll
really?
tell you.
Okay.
You put on a fresh white shirt, and then because you're gonna get so each character. Can you describe it better than me? Because I have a very vague description of it.
Okay, imagine people created foam rubber suits that turned them into monster superheroes with super sexual violent powers that would allow them to
God.
spray you down with fake blood, fake urine, fake cum, and fake shit for about
my
fucking
God.
45 minutes while they put on a stage show that features things like a fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex coming in and biting a televangelist in half. I mean, it's fucking
And blood
unreal.
squirting all over the audience.
everywhere.
I had no idea.
Yeah, but it's theater. It's
I,
theater.
I found myself in the front row of a Guar concert getting blasted in the
Yeah.
face out of his alien penis with some sort of substance and fucking going,
Yeah. Just sprayed you down with fake green cum.
And that's okay because everybody around me was like, all right, you got the alien piss in the face, man. Hell yeah.
Pal.
You've been baptized.
And then now that I say that out loud, I kind of feel stupid, but
Yeah, right.
no, it was awesome.
But you went
Yeah,
home
that's
looking
great.
like
That's
spin art
great.
from the
You
mall.
If you just see a picture of Guar, you'll get it.
I feel like I have seen what you're talking about. They like look like dinosaur type of.
Yeah, and they've got like weird suits of
spiky.
armor and
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Like
But I
WWE
didn't know that they did all the
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
that
The
you're
stage show is
referring to.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's a video out there.
Well, they were art majors, right?
Yeah, they were musical theater and theater art, like people that built sets and painted sets
Yeah.
and made costumes. Like that's
Makes sense.
yeah, it totally was, and that was their stage show. And of course, they did every offensive, politically incorrect thing they could think of, in order to defile,
Yeah.
It was rock and roll, man.
I went to a show in East Peoria once several years back. It was Rev Theory, Hailstorm, and I don't even remember who else was on the bill. But in any case, they played like the night after Guar in the same venue, and the sound system was blown. There was nothing left.
Nothing left. It
To
was
where
all
to
wet.
where the bands tried to play and they
Yeah.
couldn't. They just shut down the show.
It was wet.
And the bands played acoustic the rest of the night and said,
Fuck.
there wasn't but like 40 people there anyway. It was before those bands even
Jesus.
broke. And so they literally just played acoustic and had people, hey, come up and you just sit on the stage, and we don't have a sound system anyway. So
Yeah.
it was. I mean,
they were
they had-
banned.
They
They
had
were
nothing.
banned in a huge number of clubs, not for the politically incorrect thing.
I
but
can
because
imagine.
They basically if you had wedge monitors,
Not a
those
good
fuckers
idea.
are gonna
Toast
get soaked,
ruined?
dude. Yeah. Wet toast.
Got
You
it.
took the toast and then you fucking threw it in the bowl of milk after you ate the cereal out of it.
Don't mention cereal. The last podcast, the first
Okay.
comment.
I have to say something.
Yeah,
All
go
right,
ahead.
here
Oh,
goes.
he's gonna bust my balls again.
No, this is amazing, guys.
All right. I'm ready.
Go ahead.
I'm listening to this podcast and you're talking about the cereal, and literally 6 hours later, I am in my kitchen, going
yes.
in, getting cereal, pouring cereal, and I had to do what you were talking about.
Yeah.
I had to add some cereal because my milk milk cereal mixture was off.
The ratio.
And I'm sitting here.
fucking
I'm like,
ratio.
I just listened to this on the fucking radio, and I am doing it right now.
Yeah.
These guys are ahead of their time.
Yeah, well, I told you the Billy Gardner approach, right? That's hilarious.
Yes.
No, that system sucks.
No,
We've
that's
already
the best
said
system.
I mean, for
That sets up
for
the
you guys
ratio.
to be talking about something
Yeah.
so ridiculous, and then me 5 hours later literally saying I am doing exactly what they were just talking about and adding cereal to my bowl of milk.
What kind of cereal was it though?
It was
Yeah.
Frosted Mini Wheats.
Ooh, you know the adult.
Them
in
are
me.
good, man.
I love
They're
Frosted Mini Wheats.
You know what I remember
But the kid in me-
Here. I was just
Fruity
talking
Pebbles are my favorite. Though.
I love
Those
Fruity
number
Pebbles.
one.
Oh God, them are good.
They're the best.
Listen, I have a problem with cereal. I have an addiction. Okay, so who can remember though? I'm sure you don't, Jose. You don't have any idea about this, but before there was Frosted Mini Wheats,
Yeah.
there was a hay bale in a fucking
Yes.
They were giant, right?
There was
Yeah.
you got a box of
You could
cereal
get
with
like 5 pieces in a bowl.
with a fucking shredded
Yeah.
with some
Yeah.
shredded wheat that's
Yeah.
this big around, and your mom would be like, "Here you go, conk, throw it in a bowl and pour
Yeah.
milk on
I
it."
remember when they used to be bigger than they are now.
No,
Well,
not
these
big.
were the full size.
No, they were-
this
These things
big,
were like
dude.
bricks.
I don't
dude.
remember those.
Yeah.
They're fucking horrible.
My mom used to put them in the microwave and make it so they soaked up the milk, and she ate it like
Oh my god.
oatmeal.
You have to put
That's how she
sugar
did
on
it.
them.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and then they realize that, oh yeah, these people want to get fat, so we
Yeah.
need to make them small, bite-sized, and cover them in candy.
Well, then they
So
had
that
that
they're palpable.
They had that intermediate
Palpable.
size, and that's the
Palpable?
size you're talking about.
Palpable?
Palpable?
Did I say
It
palpable?
was before they were
don't know.
mini wheats.
Is that a word?
It
I
is a
said
word.
to make it palpable.
It is
No,
now.
no, palatable.
Fuck.
Palatable would be the word you're
Oh,
looking
yeah.
I'm working on it, people.
Palpable.
I'm a rock and roller, man.
It goes in
Palpable.
the
Palpable.
thesaurus.
Sounds right.
Palpable almost means like you
bought it?
domain
That
of
was
sensory
good.
experience. Yeah, pulpable. Fucking pulpable. But no, there was an intermediate size. They were rectangles. They were about yay big, and they didn't have any sugar on them, so you had to sugar those. And then they had the Frosted Mini Wheats, and when they came out, now for a minute there. I don't know if you can still get them. They had the itty bitty
Yeah,
wheat
yeah.
squares that
I've
had the
seen
fruit
those.
in the used
Oh.
They had the fruit in
yeah.
the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
oh, I
like
used to eat those
strawberries
fuckers
and
dry.
stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
no, no,
yeah.
no. That's
Crunch
too much
'em
like
up,
a
dude.
bowl of Fig Newtons, and I ain't down with that shit.
Really? You don't
Nah,
like
Fig Newtons are
These were
disgusting.
strawberry frosted mini wheats.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The strawberry,
Oh, got the strawberry
frosting on
sugar,
the
yeah,
top.
yeah.
You know,
those are fucking
did
good.
you have the when they came out with the instant oatmeal that you just had to add hot water to,
absolutely.
and it
I
was already
all about
sweet
it.
as fuck?
Absolutely, yeah. Peaches and cream, dude.
So this is peaches and cream.
That was the flavor, yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Really?
Yeah, and then brown sugar cinnamon. That's
Oh
the
my
other one.
God, you're that person.
Yeah.
You're the kid that
Yeah.
made us have to fucking sit through the
Yeah.
brown sugar and that maple shit.
Yeah.
When we just
The
wanted the
variety
apple
pack?
cinnamon. We
Oh,
wanted the
the
apple cinnamon.
Right.
Yeah,
We
right,
wanted the
yeah.
green. I would go through that
Yeah.
box and get out the green packets that are the apple ones, and the rest were shit to me.
I would
they
eat
were
them all.
they
I'd
were
eat 'em
dead
all.
to me.
I'd eat them all.
The maple one?
I'd eat them all. Yep.
The maple one was good. I thought.
Yeah, I like
Are
the
you
maple one.
kidding
Yeah.
me?
I liked the maple one.
Yeah, maple cinnamon. Brown
Oh,
sugar
that's
cinnamon.
horrible. And they always came in the variety pack. So
yeah,
you
yeah,
only
you
got,
couldn't get it, yeah.
There's like 4 apple cinnamons, and the
Yeah.
rest are the
Yeah.
maple that
Yeah.
you guys like. So
Yeah. In fact, the apple cinnamons were they were my least favorite because the little bits of apple, they always stayed a little hard and chewy. I didn't like that shit.
See,
Yeah.
there's something wrong with you then.
Yeah.
And you too.
No,
The maple syrup.
everybody's
You
got
like
a
the
little
maple
different
one?
taste.
Yeah. No, hey, I
All right, what was in there? Peaches-
100%
you
admit
said
there's
peaches
something
and
wrong
cream,
with it,
too.
But peaches and cream,
That's fucking weird.
oh, they were good.
No, it wasn't. What tasted like peaches and cream about it?
I don't know.
It tasted like vomit.
It was fake. It tasted like I was.
That was-
eating-
I mean,
fucking
I didn't
child
really
abuse.
love any of it.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
oatmeal, so it was.
I did
Yeah,
fucking.
gross.
I
did.
skipped that healthy stuff.
I did
Give me-
malto
give me
meal
the
too.
Cocoa Pebbles.
Oh,
and
Cocoa Pebbles, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my jam.
Yeah.
Cocoa Pebbles, Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah.
Those are the best.
The
chocolate and
Monster
fruit
cereals, man, those were the best.
I was always pissed because they would show those monster.
Are you talking about like Frankenstein? Like
Yeah.
the,
Oh,
the
yeah.
bear-
Yeah, it's
the
Frankenberry and Count Chocula.
Count
And for
Chocula,
years,
Blueberry.
they would have either Frankenberry or Count Chocula commercials,
Yeah.
and then at the end, they'd show 3 cereals. They'd show a cereal called Blueberry.
Yeah.
And you could not
You could
fucking
never
find
find
that
it.
shit, dude.
I had
Drove me
blueberry.
nuts.
Drove me insane.
You
Yeah.
found it, and it was like finding the freaking Holy Grail.
It was, you
Yeah.
know, and then you buy the box, and it's like, shit ain't that
See
good.
what we started here? See what we started? Yeah,
Shit ain't
man.
that good.
I'd be fucking. I was. You know, I had this friend that their family was like no sugar, no fucking whatever. And you went to his house, and when they were like, "You want some cereal?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" Looking through the cupboard, like got some cat. And it was all just like sticks and leaves
Yep.
and
Yeah.
hard shit and
Total,
Grape nuts.
Special K.
And I
Yeah.
couldn't wait to get home. And then at one
Life.
point we had all the good stuff, the Fruity Pebbles. And why in the fuck does the best cereal in the world come in a box this fucking big?
This big, dude.
Yeah.
Because
I'll
I'm
eat
like,
that thing
I'm gonna
in
have
one
some,
sitting, dude.
and I'll go in there and I'll be like, I'm gonna have some Fruity Pebbles. And my wife's like, don't eat all the kids' cereal. I'm like, well, there's only one bowl in this
Exactly,
motherfucker. You know what I
yeah.
mean? There's one serving in here. Actually, you see on the side, it's like 12 servings, 8,000 calories per serving.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well,
It's torturous at my house
Here we
because we have an in-home daycare at our house, so there are 8 boxes of the best cereal that you could
That you can't
possibly
touch.
imagine. So you walk in there, and you're like, oh God, which one do I want today? We got Berry Kicks. We got
Berry
fruit.
Kicks.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
now they didn't have any Berry Kicks. That's what I was trying to
Kicks.
Is you,
Kicks
you
are
had-
good, though.
you
Yeah,
had-
regular
my
Kicks
mom,
are good, yeah.
my mom came home one day and she had Kicks, and I poured a bowl of that shit, and I ate one. I was like, fuck this shit.
I had to
sugar
pour
in
the,
that.
the
Oh,
cup
you got
of
to put
sugar
sugar
on,
on
top.
that. Hell yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah,
dude.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, now
That
they got the
stuff's not-
berries for
it's
the
not
sweetness,
edible.
That's right,
you know?
man. That's right.
Try to eat grape nuts just straight with milk.
Oh, fuck
Doesn't
that,
even
dude.
sound good.
That shit will
Yeah,
break
you
your
gotta put
fucking
sugar on
teeth,
that.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what I do. I'd get up in the morning, stumble over there, pour because I like
Soak
grape
'em.
nuts. You put them in there, you put the sugar all over the top, you coat.
Yeah,
With
it's
sugar.
like a fucking-
You pour
yeah.
the milk in it, and you go take a shower, and
Yeah.
you come
Yep,
back 20
come
minutes
back.
later, and that shit's rised.
Yep.
And it's perfect
Totally.
consistency. The grape nuts are now this big. You know?
That's exactly what I did.
That's totally what you do,
Yeah,
man.
and you throw
Yeah.
down.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's some good cereals, man. There's some cereals that have come and gone, and I'm upset that I'm no longer that I can't get them anymore. Ralston, the same people, Purina, Ralston Purina was a company, and
Yeah.
Ralston used to make a whole host of cereals. In fact, they used to make Chex. I don't know if they still do, but
I guess General Mills now.
yeah, probably. But no, they used to have this cereal called Waffle-Os, and they tasted like fucking
Waffle.
blueberry waffles, dude, and they were badass. I used to
Okay.
have one called Powdered Donuts. It was like I
remember that.
I used to eat the fuck
shit.
out of them, man.
Oh, you're
That
bringing
was
back
my
memories
jam,
now.
man.
Hell
I
yes.
fucking love
Hell
that shit.
Yes. dude.
Yes. Powdered
yeah.
Donuts. Powdered Donuts.
I'm going to
dude.
let you off that maple syrup or the peaches and cream
Hey,
shit.
dude. I knew where it was at.
We can agree on
I
something.
can mainline that shit.
Okay, so here's how I can identify people that are cool or not, and
Uh-oh.
people that I can be friends with. All right. So they have the jar of peanut butter and jelly in the same jar.
Goober grape.
Goober grape, yeah.
Goober grape.
Yeah.
Is that garbage or is that not
It's
garbage?
garbage, and I will
can't do
never
it.
touch it.
I'll never
Yes.
fucking.
Yes.
I
Never.
can't do it. No.
Never.
Oh my god! I remember having my first peanut butter and jelly sandwich at somebody else's house that had that bullshit.
Dude, when you
terrible,
take
dude.
it in the knife and you put it in, it doesn't even like come out
Yeah.
like peanut butter or jelly.
I know,
so it's
dude.
like I can't do this.
It's
Yeah.
fucked
It
up.
looks like it's a year old.
Well, then,
Yeah, it's
then
fresh.
these motherfuckers will take it and they'll just stir the whole goddamn thing up and turn it into like weird, fucked up purple. Yeah, that ain't right, dude.
See?
it's not right.
Purple brown, it ain't right, dude.
I had
Fucked
to
up.
have one piece of bread that had peanut butter, one piece had jelly. The only time it came together is when I put them together.
Right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
it doesn't touch.
You know
before
why?
that.
Because you're a fucking sane human being.
Right.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
right. It's
Yeah.
horrible. I mean,
All
don't
right.
be trying to send me that
Now, how
goober
depraved
shit.
are we?
And you call it goober?
I mean, I did have an
Goober
idea
grape.
back in the day for a bottle that had mayonnaise in one side
And
and
ketchup?
ketchup in the other. Yeah.
Well,
so-
yeah.
Well, they sell that now.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, we all tried Aquafresh fucking
Yes.
toothpaste, right? And it was a
Red, white,
crazy
blue.
dispenser because they figured out the way to make it so that it would come out and the beads would stay
Separate.
separate.
Yeah.
No matter how you fucked up the thing, it would always come out the
Yeah.
same way, right? But they did not. They needed to do some shit like that with Goober Grape if they were going to have it pass.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is that I'm picky about peanut butter and I'm picky about grape jelly. So if it's not the right brand of peanut butter, but it happened to be the right brand of grape jelly, it's inadmissible as a combination. I can't fucking deal with it,
Inadmissible.
Inadmissible, man.
Yes.
I will not fucking eat it. But how depraved are we though? Because I was going to ask this question. How far down did you go down the list of ways that you could take cinnamon toast, like where you toast a piece of bread, you lay some butter on it, you hit it with cinnamon and sugar? Did you ever get to the point like me where you just took a piece of raw white bread, dumped fucking sugar on it, and then just ate the motherfucker? Come on, admit it.
Wait.
Just fold
So
it over
safely
like you
say
folded
no
over
that I
a
have
sandwich.
So
You just folded over a sandwich and just had some granular fucking
So
chewing on
you
it.
ate a sugar sandwich.
It's like you're eating the beach. You
You
know,
ate
it's
a
the
sugar
fucking
sandwich.
Granular, yeah, absolutely. Well, it wasn't even a sandwich. It was
You
like
didn't
a
even
fold over.
So you cut out the cinnamon and everything.
yeah, I just fucking was like, okay, we're just
And
gonna
the
cut
butter.
to the chase here. No butter.
Nope,
just gonna
nope.
cut to the chase here.
How does that even work with no butter? It like doesn't even stick to the bread.
It doesn't. You know what? In a way, it's not nearly as good as that other thing. But I'll
What?
tell you what, it is a lot faster.
I bet.
Because all you do is grab a piece of bread, throw some fucking sugar on it, and put it in your mouth.
Travis, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I grew up in a trailer park. That's what's wrong with me, man. I had good trainers.
You can take the kid out of the trailer park.
Take the trailer out the kid.
No.
Yeah, that's right, man.
No, absolutely fucking not.
No, never did.
No, not a sugar sandwich.
All right,
No,
all right, man.
no.
And it isn't even that's the thing, is that you didn't even use 2 pieces of bread. That was just too much damn bread. You know what I mean? You just fold over a piece of bread. You just make a little sugar
All right,
taco.
Sugar taco.
Yeah.
Like how many hot dogs have you eaten in like a slice of bread?
It's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
million.
Like
a million and a half.
They're almost better.
Put them in the microwave.
They're almost better.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
not better.
I agree.
They're not
I agree.
better.
They're not better.
No,
All right.
a bun is.
I didn't even know there was
way
such
better.
thing as a hot dog bun
All
until I was like
right.
24.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, what is this piece of specialized equipment for hot dog delivery? So no, but all right. This is something I figured out, that if you take a single piece of Carl Buddig lunch meat, you know what I'm
yum.
talking about?
Yeah.
And you put it in the microwave, you can crisp it up like bacon and then eat it, and it's
Are
like
you
jerky.
serious?
Yeah, it turns
I'm
into
trying that
jerky
tomorrow.
Yeah. You do it one at a
because
time.
it takes all the water out of it.
Yeah.
It dehydrates the meat.
Now, here's the
Yeah.
thing that's really fucking gross, is I just put it right on the carousel. I didn't bother to put down a plate.
plate.
I didn't do that. That shit was so
Oh,
funky in there,
That's
dude. I didn't give
mopping
a
up
fuck.
old
I was just like,
goulash and shit.
Yeah, I would.
But I don't get
I
sick
would
now,
never do
so-
that with the
That's
with
inoculation.
the studio microwave.
Yeah.
That'd be a little
Oh,
dangerous.
that would
Yeah,
be
no,
bad.
you could survive AIDS.
You're
You could be
asking for
HIV
infectious
positive and
disease,
you would
man.
fucking live.
That's actually the thing about the studio kitchen is I feel like there is so much bacteria or like
I can't even go in
things
there.
growing
Yeah.
that all we do is go in there and breathe for a couple of minutes
Oh,
and
God.
then we're safe.
Exactly, you're inoculated,
I haven't
man.
been sick since
That's what I'm
January.
saying.
All right, where does everybody
Fucking
stand on
no
pizza
MRSA.
rolls? Is this something that's still in your diet?
Fuck pizza rolls. I never liked them.
They taste like dog
I
food.
used to
terrible,
eat them
dude.
religiously. I used to
love
make
them
the
too.
whole bag. I'd get some ranch, some Tabasco sauce.
Oh,
That's
see?
the way to do it.
It's
You
a
gotta have
vehicle.
both of those.
Yeah.
It's a vehicle. It's
Yeah.
a delivery
Now, what do you
system.
do if you leave them? Do you do them in the oven or microwave?
Always, never microwave.
They get kind of a
We've
cardboardy-
found that air fryers can make old McDonald's French fries back to brand new French fries.
Oh, boy.
Whoa.
Yes.
Because they're zombie fries from the beginning, though.
Right.
That's the thing,
Right.
man. They're already reanimated,
Yes,
so you
yeah,
got to
exactly.
reanimate
So
it.
Yeah.
you
Wow.
add that
Yeah.
little bit of extra crunch back into the McDonald's fries.
You ever found a
there.
fry in your fries that literally has like a shoe tread step into it? like part of it's normal and then it just spreads out.
Yeah.
And it's totally like a Nike fucking
Right.
shoe and they're like, fuck it,
Like,
throw it in the fryer.
Yep, saving the company money. Here we go. Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah,
that's
me
good.
neither.
Yeah,
No, just wanted,
that's some weird food.
just wanted to know. Just thought of it.
Did you used to work at McDonald's?
No,
Oh,
never.
okay,
I never
right,
did.
right.
But I did have a
That's my
girlfriend that
first
worked
job.
there, and at night they would just throw away their extra shit. It's crazy,
Love it,
and I would lose weight eating it back then too. you
Dude,
know?
that's the way
Yeah,
it was for
right.
me. Yeah. I mean, I was 18. But,
Yeah,
so-
exactly.
Here's how pathetic my ass was. I used to go play shows, and then like at 3 or 4 in the morning, I'd go into one of these gas stations before we had like the Big 10 or the
Yeah.
the big ass ones that are every 4 blocks now that are
it's
just
like-
eating everything up.
Yeah.
There'd be normal gas stations that would have the hot dogs from that day still on the little thing
Right.
spinning, and the pizza that has been there all day. That's now the cheese is 3 sizes too small for
Yeah.
the crust, and it's curled up like a Mexican
Yeah.
boot.
There's something
you know?
I
right.
strangely like about old pizza.
Me
that's been
too.
sitting there
And I
all
would
day.
come in there and I would just start to wheel and deal with that fucker behind
Alright.
the counter
Alright,
because I
let's
know
talk.
he's about to toss it all.
Let's talk.
I'm like, okay, so these hot dogs that look like Slim Jims now, there's 3 of them left. I'll take these 3 and them 2 last pieces of pizza right there that are now curled.
Yep.
You know, like that, and I'll give you $2 for all of it. And he was like, deal.
Deal.
And I buy, hell yeah, and I take
Yep.
all that old shit home
Yep.
because he's gonna toss it anyway. He puts the
Yeah.
$2 in his pocket.
Fuck yeah, he does.
You know, so I'm
You don't
taking it
care.
all.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
dude, the fucking those old hot
That's how you
dogs,
live
man.
is a rock and roller right there. There you go.
That shit is nasty, man. I can't eat them hot dogs. Although
Definitely.
although on the subject of hot dogs, the other thing is if once you have something to steam the hot dogs instead of any other, the steaming of the hot dog is really the ideal method. I think it's better than the rollers personally.
The guy that
yeah.
works with me, his name is Benny, and we talk about all this kind of shit all day long when we're out doing jobs and stuff. But he can sit and eat raw hot dogs. Like he won't heat them up. Okay, so he'll just get the
That's what my
pack and
5-year-old son does.
and just start eating the son bitches. And he ate like 10 of them in one sitting. Anyway, and then if you got like okay, no, this dude's weird. We argue about this all the time. He's like, I never heat up my food. I was like, so you go get a can of like Dentimore stew. You just pour that shit in a bowl and eat it. He's like, I ain't got time. Because I ain't got time. Yeah, chili. He'll just eat it.
No, that's not real, right?
There's something wrong with him, right?
Yeah,
See, there's something wrong with you, Benny.
Yeah.
Everybody agrees with me.
That's not good.
There's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
No, there really is something wrong with it.
Because the fat. No, in a lot of those products,
you can't wait a minute to heat it up. Not 1 minute.
Yeah, that means
I'm hungry right now.
Like
I just
it's
want to eat.
solidified.
Yeah,
it's like gel.
Yeah.
You gotta heat it up.
You gotta heat that shit up, dude. Yep.
That's like the jello on top. Yeah,
But
that's not good.
But yeah, it's the dude. Well, but I mean, I know
Leftover
some
gravy
dudes.
from Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they didn't even take it out of the can. They were weirdos. They would just fucking put the can on a burner. I'm like, what the fuck?
I've
man?
seen some people grill and cook out in the wilderness like that.
Yeah.
You know, put
Sure.
a can, put it on there.
Yeah.
It's certainly better than eating it cold out of the can.
Oh, there's a fucking plastic liner in the fucking can, dude. Oh, these beans are really chewy. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, they are. Because they're coming back down to temperature and re-solidifying, you moron. Fucking Bear Grylls. There, this is some fucking...
That's a dream of mine. I want to do that someday. Are you listening to me, Travis? We're going to do this. You got to make this happen for me. I have a bucket list of things that I want to do before I croak it.
All right.
One of them is I want to sit around a campfire and fucking cook like stew and have like a pot cooking in the westerns, man. You got and the stars are out and you fucking hang out and maybe get some acoustics out,
guitar,
and do that. I got to do that.
Some yodeling and shit.
Cook your
absolutely.
Do you have to wear the hat?
Cook it in an old boot.
Like the cowboy
I'll wear a
hat?
hat if you want me to.
All right.
If you want me to.
Well, have you seen this shit where there's some dude out in the wilderness and he's got some sharp fucking knife, like some ridiculous big cleaver, and he's out there with all the ingredients and the meat and like grinds all the shit up, mortar and pestle, and it's all on like a wooden plank. It's got a fucking campfire, and he just sits there and he makes like the most beautiful food.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a dude. With
As a kid,
knife.
I used to fantasize about that.
Yeah.
I'd make a couple sandwiches and I'd go out in the woods and like sit there and act like I fucking caught it or killed it. You know,
me
like
too, dude.
I finally got me some bologna.
Right? Yeah.
You know, and just like fantasize that I was surviving on my own. You know,
Some microwave butter.
and then out here like Ryan, like fantasizing here.
Exactly.
You know, so I don't know. I guess
I
like
do that
I
shit.
don't want to do naked and afraid. Don't get all excited about that bullshit.
yeah.
I don't want to be naked and fucking all that stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, I always thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I did too, man.
It is neat.
Yeah, I used to think that was cool. I don't know that and the whole thing with. All right, I'll let you into my world a little bit here. When I was young, I always thought it would be cool if you could have an entire house just be like the smallest you could make it. Like if you could be like have like a tiny little fucking fort, but it had everything you need in it. You know what I mean? Like
Wait, they're doing that now.
That's a
yeah,
small
I know.
house move.
Well, yeah, but I mean
that's a
even
big deal
smaller,
now.
like
Right.
really a lot smaller. You know, I mean.
like a
What
dollhouse
size are
or
we
like
talking here?
Well, I mean, you know,
Like
you
a
got to be able to.
refrigerator?
You got to be, you got to be able to fit inside it. That's key. But
Like
you
they
know,
call
you'd
that
have
a casket.
yeah, you'd have your little You'd have basically like a casket. But there'd be like a little TV in there, and you'd have your little bookshelf, you know, and
Or a bunk
and a little
and
light.
a bus.
I've
know?
seen some of those
Yeah.
little tiny sheds, those little tiny houses that are
Yeah.
really awesome. Where like the bed comes down from
Yeah.
the wall,
Yeah.
and the kitchen pulls out
Yeah,
from
right,
from
dude.
the wall. It's
Yeah.
all really awesome.
They've got a
Yeah.
show, like HGTV has
Yeah.
a show about that.
I
Yeah,
grew
they
up
do.
in Rock
Cool
Island,
stuff.
Yeah.
and my mom bought a fridge or something that had a humongous fucking cardboard box that came with it. Right?
yes.
And I immediately was like,
See,
that
we're all
is-
getting excited now.
that's-
Yeah,
I know.
exactly. We
Yeah.
know.
and
yeah.
I cut windows in that sumbitch, and I
yeah.
put it out in the yard, and I said, Mom, I'm staying in the box tonight.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
I've
Yeah,
slept in
yeah,
many
absolutely.
boxes.
Yeah.
For fun.
Yeah.
On purpose.
And so you get in that thing and pretty soon, I'm in Rock Island though, and to let your kids sleep in a cardboard box in the yard in Rock Island. You know, my mom was
A Kevlar box.
Oh man.
I think
Parent of the
my
year.
poster outside my classroom said I want to sleep in a cardboard box
Right. Yeah.
under the bridge because I was planning for the future.
Yeah,
I was
right,
getting used to
exactly.
my environment.
Exactly.
And a van down
But
by
to
the
kids
river.
though, man, that's awesome. Man, you have kids. As soon as you bring a box in the room, they're like,
It is exactly how it is.
Yeah.
The box
Like, yeah.
trumps everything.
Totally.
Yeah.
I
And they
used
play
to
with the
wonder
damn
why
box.
I bought the kids Christmas presents. Just give them a damn box.
Just give them a damn box. Well, I got to the point where I realized that this little folding futon thing that I used as my bed, fit like exactly in my closet. Like it was exactly the dimension of my closet. So fuck the room, man. That was not where I was at. I was in the closet in the little, no metaphors here. No metaphors.
You're a little cubby, little bunk.
Exactly. It was like my little fucking area back there. And I like fixed up a little lamp in there and shit. And I had a little radio and, you know. My parents, when I first started doing that, my parents come into the room and Travis, you know, and I wouldn't say nothing, you know. And they've been fucking looking all over for me.
I was pretty lucky.
What the fuck are you doing?
When I was young, my dad would always find, like, he found an old shed that his buddies were getting rid of. And all of a sudden we look outside one day and there's this flatbed truck bringing this old shed into our yard. Fun. And it was our fortress from that point on. So we could sleep out in the backyard. We had a little TV. Our Nintendo 64, and me and my brother basically just played in our little shed in the backyard.
Did you just run any like an extension cord out to it?
I wonder if there's any dream analyzers out there, because I don't know. Have you ever dreamt this before, or is this just me? Sometimes I'll dream about, you know, you've seen your house, you know all the rooms that are in your house, but sometimes in my dreams I'll be like, all of a sudden I find this fucking door.
Yeah.
That goes to a whole new part of the house I never knew existed.
Right,
you know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
MDR Studios. You know, and I don't know what that is, but I love. And I wake up, I'm like, oh shit, that didn't really happen.
It makes you mad because then you try to go and see if the door is there, and it's not fucking there, man. Yeah, you can't get there.
Maybe
from here.
That's part of a house you're gonna have in the future.
That could be.
You just don't know yet.
That could be.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, doors and new domains definitely are major symbols for, you know, I mean, the obvious stuff, which is that there are these territories that you're trying to connect with, that you're trying to get to, that are blocked from you somehow. So in the dream, it's great because then the fucking barrier is removed. You can just go there. It's awesome. It's like
a door that's just like been right next to the fridge all the time.
The whole time, yeah.
What? I just came to get a glass of milk.
Oh shit!
Well, holy shit!
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
There's a whole chocolate factory in here.
I'm Willy Wonka, and this is my fucking chocolate factory.
Exactly, man.
My golden ticket.
Exactly,
man. You know, doing these podcasts is almost like therapy. I like hanging out with everybody. I like meeting new people and exposing some of the things that we think about and we do. So MDR's not. You know, I was talking about the whole cereal thing. The first comment on YouTube was, "What's with the weird cereal talk?"
It's like, have you not been watching this fucking podcast?
Right. And my response was, "It's MDR, sir."
Yeah.
That's I saw that comment, and I'm like, this dude apparently has no idea what this show is about, because there will be several hundred different topics.
He's watched MDR a bunch, but just maybe that's.
It had escaped him.
Well, he's noticed that, but the cereal might be just a little bit too lowbrow or whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
Well,
who cares?
I just thought how amazing it was that I was experiencing the cereal talk that you guys had literally that same day. So I mean, that's how you know you're onto something.
So we're going on 2.5 hours right now. I know when we talked earlier today, you're like, we're gonna do a clean hour and a half.
Yeah.
I was like, I've been on a few times. Maybe people don't want to see a 3-hour show, and
this felt like 40 minutes.
Yeah. It's been we've been sitting here.
It goes quick.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is you were like, we'll try to keep it in 1.5 hours, and I like the decimals too, the 1.5.
He uses the metric system.
And my response was, sissy.
The truth is, I mean, there are so many things that we could talk about. We could dive down into. The musical fun world that I get to play in is really awesome. You know, I mean, it is every day for me that I am working in the music industry. Same with him, and these bands are trying to go out there and tour and make it their dream. It's a really awesome world to live in every day. So, I mean, we could go on and on about everything.
Yeah, I was on my way over, you know, since I knew you were going to be here, and I was, you know, thinking of questions that I wanted to ask you about, you know, contrasting documentarian style recording production techniques versus, the more creative, signature stylistic.
I thought you said you had no idea he was on the show.
Oh, no, I didn't, but he...
I messaged him.
Yeah, he messaged me, yeah.
He wanted me, please Travis be there, because I can't take Brian for an hour and a half.
This dude maybe trying to get a hold of some other dude named Travis? And then I thought, no, if that dude's contacting me, there's probably a fucking reason. What would that reason be? Oh, he's probably going to be on the show.
I, for one, can't message Travis because, he hasn't accepted my friend request for the last 6 months.
I see it all the time, and I'm like, seriously,
who the hell's that?
I will accept it now.
First of all,
seriously,
is your
I
profile...
don't accept friend requests from people that I have not met.
Yeah.
I just don't do it.
And plus, your profile picture can't look like this.
And every time I look at him, I'm like, who the fuck is this dude?
I was watching the show last week with Alborn, and
yeah.
my name came up, and you're like, Tom Baumbgardner, I don't know him. I'm like,
yeah.
Check your fucking friend requests.
Yeah.
Been dissing me, man. Well,
asshole.
I mean, actually, that's the thing. Is like the whole misinterpretation of the of how people communicate online was definitely a major topic last time, because like I started thinking about the whole ellipsis issue. The whole ... thing, and I think for most people the ellipsis actually is like an eye roll. It's like, ugh.
See, I never even thought of it that way.
It's like an eye roll.
I use it a lot.
I
It's
do
not
too.
in the eye roll.
That's not the way I
thing.
use it.
Right,
That's not the way I use it, and that's not the way I
continuing thought.
understand it.
Yeah. It's
See, fuck
always
that. But
meaning
it's-
like it's
like
an
I shouldn't have to-
unfinished sentence in
Yeah,
some way.
yeah.
But
an
the way
unfinished
those
thought.
young kids talk about it, they talk about it as more like, you should know this.
Oh,
Right.
See, I don't,
Yeah,
and you
like-
know what? I'm going to go
like
back to my ...
whatever,
because
whatever.
Yeah.
that's what I've gotten away with it this far, and it's
Yeah.
the only people that have misunderstood it or
Right.
thought I was being a dick about it was the guys in Alborn.
I saw a meme.
Yeah?
Where somebody was talking about it. It's a thing with young people that old people overuse the ellipsis, and it doesn't mean the same thing to them than it means to us.
That's weird.
I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. But that is the way that language changes as time goes on. Is the usages emerge out of something we don't have a control over.
Well,
so
my
we'll
coworker
literally
brought up a
be
good
saying
point.
things to people we not even know.
So
Yeah.
the period adds some sort of poignancy to what we're saying. It's almost like an exclamation point, like, "Hey man, get me your single." ...
Yeah.
It's not like, get me your single.
You do use it in a different context than I would. Like give me your single ... I could see like what are you trying to
exactly.
say there?
Why is this
Like,
not a
give me your
definitive
single ... like why haven't you done it already?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of is saying that.
Right,
Look,
and that's why they
right.
think you're being a pushy asshole. Like, that's right, dude.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah.
So Brian is like, yes,
So
yes,
you are a pushy
I'm
asshole.
being pushy, yes. and your thought is, they told me, they told you.
God.
Yeah.
I don't know what these kids
man.
want from me. All I know is that,
Rhetorical clarity, Brian.
we're going on 2.5 hours, and I appreciate that you want to be on the show again, because I don't give a shit if people are tired of you or not, but I needed to have you on because I wanted to find out what's going on.
I appreciate it,
and
man.
thank you for doing what you're doing with these bands, because without that, I wouldn't have a radio show. I wouldn't be able to play anything because it won't. I'm not saying that nobody could do a decent recording, but I'm just saying that the stuff that's coming out of your studio is amazing, man.
Thanks, man.
And it makes me want to go record a song in there.
You should
awesome.
do it.
Probably can't afford it though. Yeah, I take way too
man.
long to record stuff.
No, you would see. The thing is I have gleaned that through some limited conversations with you that he can probably do things with what it is that you do without you having to totally nickel dick your way through the song and take a long time. And I will quote, "I am a ninja in Pro Tools," is what Jose said. So
I believe him.
So yeah, so that's.
I mean,
that's
that was
what it is.
one of the things that kind of just happened because in the beginning I was working with every band that I came across. I was like, yeah, let's do something. And they weren't always the best. So, and I didn't want to put out a product that didn't sound like a pro product. So I had to learn to edit it until it was perfect.
Yeah.
And now it's just, I can edit it faster than the musician can play it.
Yeah.
When we're in a position where we're working with a new band, you want to just get the material out for people to listen to. You want to grow their fan base so that when you put out the next record, there's more people that you're putting it out to. So for us, we're just, there's no real rules on any of it. We're just making it sound the best that we can.
Sure.
So-
But I mean, the thing that can be maybe dangerous about that is that then what ends up happening is now the music has to be structuralized by the tools that you use to put the song in the order You know what I mean? And then that signature's on it. And it's hard then to have it not sound like that. In other words, you might say that it's not that naturalistic an approach, which that was something I was going to ask you about, is, you know, is whether or not you're finding yourself wanting to make a move toward more naturalistic or documentarian. Like Steve Albini would be like the other end of the spectrum of that, if you know who that is, you know, where he doesn't even call himself a producer. He calls himself an engineer. Because he sets up microphones and does all that stuff.
I'm not an engineer.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm
You're
a producer.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to ask you about.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, what's your thought on that?
I always have had guys around me that are really great engineers, that are the audio dudes that love the mics and love the mic placement and love talking about phase and all of that stuff. I've never really been in that side of it. To me, it's always been like, oh, I hear that hook, try this, let's sing this harmony, let's do all those type of things. This arrangement works better.
Now, do you have to get into that stuff to do the repairs? Like, who gets the tracks in order for you to do your mix? Is it you? Okay,
Yeah, so
you have to fix problems like that. Like, you can't let phase issues go.
Correct.
So you're going to have to get in there and look and see where you need to line up transients.
Yeah, so Nate, who works at the studio too, he's like the audio guy.
Okay.
He runs live sound. He knows how to do all that.
What's
stuff.
Nate's last name?
Walker.
Nate Walker. Okay, I don't
He was
think
the
I know
drummer
him.
from Another Lost Year, which was the first band that first full length record I produced.
So he's doing like your drum engineering.
He's the one that does all that stuff. Yeah.
But then I have the impression as I listen to what I'm hearing that the cymbals are live, but the drums themselves are blended.
There's no samples in that.
No samples?
Nope.
Okay, so
That's
if I
all
hear a
real-
snare drum, I'm
that's
hearing
all
a real
real
snare
snare.
drum. Well,
Yep.
you got that shit down.
I do
to a
believe
gnat's
we have
ass.
that down now,
Yeah,
yes.
because it sounds
Any
exactly the
song
way it
we're
should.
doing now, there's no samples in that.
Awesome, man.
I hated every song I put out because I could hear that sample snare and I was like, God, it sounds so bad.
There are some people that can get it that know how to get the sample to not sound
It
like
sounds
them.
beautiful.
And I wondered if you knew how to do that or if you just figured out how to get the drum to sound that way.
Thanks to Nate, really. I mean, and the fact that now we've done so many bands where the kit's always set up at the same place in the room.
Yeah, right.
We know exactly how to get that snare drum to sound exactly how it's
And you
supposed to
use a
snare.
dead room. You don't use
Very
a live
dead.
room.
I can be pretty hard on the people that I'm working with. It's almost like people say it's like the military mentality. Like I kind of break them down a little bit first and then build them back up in the process, because a lot of the times they'll come in and they're just they get mad at themselves, they yell at themselves, God, I suck, and I'll start agreeing with them. Like I will literally just start telling them how bad they are until they get so pissed off, or they get up there and they sing a note that they've never been able to hit before, or they sing something, then he looks at me, he's like, fuck you.
That's an interesting way of going about that, because I would think that you would need to validate them as quickly as you could so that they feel comfortable. You know, give them a compliment first.
I give them as much shit as possible.
See, yeah. And, you know, and that's the thing. It's like you could do that, Brian, but it would be false validity. Like it wouldn't be able to stand up to anything. Yeah.
Well, thankfully, anybody I work with now doesn't suck.
Here's what I saw through the window when I was singing my vocals. Is that a take? And I used to fucking hate that, because I was like, I just sang my fucking balls off.
You
in
tell
here.
me.
And he's just like, that one will do, right? I want to hear like, man, son of a bitch, that was the take. You know,
well, a lot of people that work with me say that that's what they love about working with me, is because I can't contain my excitement. When I hear something that is awesome, everybody knows that I think it's awesome. I mean, I will yell. I'll be like, God damn it, that's the best thing ever. Like, you can tell when I'm feeling something. So as much shit as I give them is in between real, honest moments of them singing something and me going like, dude, that is badass, man. That is awesome.
You went through a similar evolution, though, if I remember correctly. I mean, I remember doing vocals for Chemical Ride. We went up to Groove Master Studios to do those. And that was the first time Jose really got produced by someone. And it was not just someone, I mean, but someone that was known in the industry. We went to Tadpole up there, and I remember even him starting out being very uncomfortable. and went through that process. But I think that was a huge learning experience for him.
Well, that's before that guy moved down to Nashville. Then,
Yes.
yeah, because he moved. But
Johnny K.
Yeah, but he did the Disturbed albums.
Okay,
Yes.
if I were producing you, because I have a little bone to pick with you, Jose, in your hook writing.
Here it comes.
The song "You and I." There's, here we are, blah blah blah. But when you get to the "You lied through it all," take it back. Strong hook. I mean, great hook. But in my mind, and we talked about it on the radio because we played it was in the top 3 or something, and I was like, I just wish Jose would have been, "You lied through it all." I wish you did the all 3 notes instead of all. Like there's some cutoff there, and you had said, "Well, that's just not how he wrote it." And I was like, "But I want to, you lied through it all." I want to hear all the fucking notes because that's the hook, and you want that to delay a little bit, so it's it's bigger.
You know what's
Them
funny?
little triads get me off, man. You know what I'm saying?
I do this thing.
Why are you looking at me like
Because
that?
then I remember we were talking about Toto. Well, the dude ain't gonna be, woo, you know what I mean? He ain't gonna be fucking.
It's funny because I love when other singers do that shit. Like they'll come in and they'll sing like that. I'll be like, "God damn, that's badass."
Yeah.
But when I sing, I do this thing where like I'll hold a note, and I don't really mean to bring it down to the other note. I just kind of let off.
Okay.
And it falls.
So
Kind of. You lied through it all, and it just kind of.
you just did it though.
Well, yeah. I mean, when I'm singing it big, it just kind of falls off.
Yeah.
Sure,
you know?
yeah.
It's not really. I'm not really meaning to go down to that note. It just drops. So, I should have done the lyrics, Brian.
So like I
Maybe
said.
if you were vocal producing
Yeah,
me
exactly.
on that record.
I'd be like,
You
"No,
call
you're doing
up
all
Ryan
3
Minor,
notes, Jose.
we're-
Do it again. Do it again."
We're not doing this right out
And
here.
I have a
That's
point of
right.
contention with the Alborn song too. When they come out of their break and the whatever they do, the chorus isn't the chorus
You're absolutely right.
in the first and second spot, and I don't like the fact that he doesn't say, "Okay."
He never once goes back to the chorus after that.
sail away from the moment that has to fucking be there in the chorus at the
Yeah,
end,
yeah.
and he does.
It's there. It's just way in the background.
But I'm
and
just like,
distorted.
dang it! I want that right in my face
That was
again
a
because by
Morgan.
that
That was
point,
a Morgan decision.
really,
That whole end of the song was all Morgan.
okay.
Yep.
Well,
He was like,
for
"We're
me,
coming back. We're not going to the chorus. We're going to go to this big saily thing that it's
and
Razor
worked-
screaming.
and it worked out. But the thing is that was the best part of the hook to me, and I was like, dang it, they walked out on a hook again. It's I've said this about bands where
Brian gets mad.
they'll do really cool stuff. There was one band that was really guilty of
Those
it.
are
That's
the
all, but-
differences between having a producer that costs $10,000 for a song and $700 for a song.
Because
You know
here's what
I mean?
happens. I think the band plays the song enough times in the studio that they get tired of the hook, and they don't really realize that the hook's as
except
strong
in this
as it
case,
is.
when we wrote it as we were recording it, you can never get tired of it because
That should have came out of the break or whatever they were doing and fucking went right to the sail away. And
that's the standard thing to do, though, is come out of the bridge and go back to another chorus. And
Yeah.
Morgan was just like, let's go somewhere completely different with it. This song wasn't even really intended to be a single.
Okay.
Like, it's not even.
What the fuck do I know? I'm just bitching.
Yeah.
No,
About
I mean,
a hook.
Yeah.
we were just throwing it out there and saying, hey, here's new music. This is a song that we like. And
Famous bands do it all the time, and I'm like, son of a, really? Give me what I want. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
want that line again and do it.
Yeah.
I was working with a band recently.
You know?
Don't
Don't waste my fucking time with this
It's
shit.
fucking funny, Brian. Brian's like, God damn it, man! You gotta wear bell bottom
And don't
pants.
give me a 16 bar
Bell-bottom pants
outro either.
style.
I don't need 16 bars of it.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that. My drummer told me one time, he's like, Brian, the songs are great, but you don't have to do it 8 times every
Yeah.
time we do it. I'm like, yeah we do. Because
8
my drum
times?
quantizing thing, I can't.
Yeah, right, yeah.
It does patterns of 4 bars,
Yep.
4 bars, or 8
That's
bars.
right.
There's no middle ground. We're gonna fucking do it 8 times. So
Elisa's SR16 says we're doing it 8 times.
that's what I'm saying.
We're in a good place now where when we're writing with bands, we've got the drums already set up and mic'd and ready to go. So if we're writing a riff, they can just jump in the other room, lay a beat,
Please,
and
man.
keep on building
if,
it. So
if the dudes in Alborn are watching this, please don't think. The only reason I'm even saying the things that I'm saying is because they're worth saying it to.
of course, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
If they really sucked or I didn't like them, I wouldn't say shit about them. But the fact that they're just right there, they're that rising band that's kind of making a mark now.
Yeah.
Don't walk out on that hook, first of all, and
Yeah.
and when you're going to present your band in front of a new audience, make sure that it's your band
Yeah,
and your
sure.
and your brand and your that you're giving them instead of just any other local band.
Yeah.
because you know what I'm saying. So that, we talked about that earlier about their performance on Dwyer Michaels, and I was just.
I'll take. See, I take that as I am a new producer. I mean, I am just kind of starting out. Some of these rock producers make $10,000 to $12,000 a song. Like Elvis just did Seven Dust last record, $55,000 for a 10-song record. And thankfully, which is super weird in life, I was just in the running with him and Johnny K to produce a new band's record. I charged $10,000 for a record, and these two guys charged $60,000 for a record.
Sure.
And I'm in the same, hat for that to be in, which is, like I said, the last 6 months has just been crazy. You feel like you put all these pieces on the table and you build it all up, and like you know that as soon as the gates open up, it's all just gonna rush, and you hope it all lines up. And I feel like that's kind of what has been happening with all the bands and everything we've been working on for a long time. So
that's cool.
Yeah, and we're trying to do our part here at MDR too to get people interested in what's going on. It's a tough. It's a niche market. The people that are watching or listening right now, there are people, and our group isn't humongous. This isn't a huge commercially successful thing, but the people that do watch it love what we're doing.
Definitely.
We are only doing it for those people.
Yeah, right. We get one person maybe every podcast that's like, "Hey, man, I like what you're doing," and they're new to the thing, and it's a slow build, and I love doing this. And like I said, without the stuff that you're producing, we don't have a whole lot of fodder for the radio show aspect of things. But whenever something comes out of your studio, I know it's ready to go. It's it's plug and play, man.
Man, in a position where even you're a popular dude, everybody knows who you are. In any position like this, I feel like it just leaves it much easier for people to shit talk.
Of course it does.
You're more enemies out of guys that you don't even. You never even talk to, or you never even do anything.
I almost get mad that I don't hear any of it. I'm like, I must be doing something all fucked up, because there should be a bunch of people bitching about it.
I may be weird, but I heard this saying once, wolves don't pay attention to the opinions of sheep. And I am literally so busy focused on these important things that these bands are literally giving their lives for, that I don't even hear that noise.
Whatever it is.
Man, there are people that are for no reason at all just try to make my life hell. So
and if they go out of their way to do that, you must have really fucking pissed them off.
I sit and think, I'm like, what in the fuck am I doing? Like, why is this person? Why do they even care? But
people are hurtful, man.
Well,
we still got to cut a radio show, and we're 3 hours in.
I think you got plenty of fodder to fucking edit.
No, there's nothing. I would never get editing. Trust me, I have to do the ins and outs. We'll do this. It won't take long. I want to thank everybody for watching the podcast. We're going to be back in 2 weeks with Doppelganger.
Yeah. I want to check these dudes out. It's going to be great.
All right. So we'll see you guys next time. This is episode, what was this?
85.
85. Like the Bears. 85 Bears.
Yep. So thanks for watching. This is Minor Disturbance Radio. We'll see you guys next time. Later. You're supposed to say peace or something.
Peace.
I'm ready to burn one too.